Sommers.
I'm Christine Lisi. I'm out of there. That was the direct response of Falcons receiver Julio Jones. If he wants to stay in Atlanta, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Falcons asking for a first-round pick in return for Jones. This first day of OTAs is a significant one in the standoff between quarterback Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. ESPN's Rob Domofsky reports Rodgers did not report today. He was at OTAs in years past. Rodgers still wants out of Green Bay. Team has no plans to trade him. With no Rodgers, all eyes will be on QB Jordan Love, explains ESPN's Dan Graziano.
This week will be Jordan Love's first chance to run the Packers offense since last year's training camp, and the coaching staff is going to be watching to see what kind of improvement he shows in terms of his command of the offense. So pretty big couple of weeks coming up here for Jordan Love. Whether he ends up having to be the Packers starting quarterback this year or not.
NBA star Donovan Mitchell, angered by Utah's late decision to scratch him from the series opening loss to the Grizzlies, and it deepened the tensions with the team regarding his recovery from a right ankle sprain, reports ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
It's time for some Straight Talk. Cutting your wireless bill in half feels good. Home run in the ninth good. Straight Talk offers 25 gigs of high-speed data for $45 a month, up to 50% less than the other guys on America's best networks. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's live. It's local. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers.
All right, let's try this again, shall we? It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash here on a Monday. Happy Monday. Hope everyone had a great weekend. We are off and rolling. We had a show Friday, right?
We did.
That seemed like a long weekend. Usually, right? Did your weekend seem long?
No, it didn't.
No?
I was busy as all get out.
We didn't do a thing this week. We went out for Nora's birthday, so I'm not saying that's nothing. We just went out for Nora's birthday, but it just seemed like we did a lot of nothing this weekend. A lot of yard work, a lot of boring stuff. I couldn't wait to get back to work today. That's how boring the weekend was for me. Outside of going out for my beautiful fiance's birthday, of course. Outside of that, everything. Well, because, it was an awesome birthday date that we went out. Went to the Oregon district, by the way. Dude, that's really cool. They have the road blocked off, all the outside dining and everything like that. They had, some music out there and everything. It was really cool. Awesome. It looked awesome. It felt awesome to be back out there a little bit. But after that, it was back to yard work, back to doing the boring stuff. So
I had to cut the grass. I had to clean out the garage. Had to buy a shop vac for the garage because it was just so much cobwebs and just dust and dirt and grime. So we cleaned that out. Just a full day on Saturday of that. And then on Sunday, I just recouped and slept all day and did nothing and laid around the house. But we're here. It's Monday. A lot of basketball over the weekend.
All that matters. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Monday. We're going to open up with that, actually, because I do want to dive into this. I found this interesting over the weekend. For the first time in a long time, I was watching NBA games from tip to finish. They were easy to watch. They actually looked like they cared about playing. It was good fundamental basketball. They actually sat down and tried to play defense. You actually had best friends on the court actually flinging elbows and throwing each other on the ground, or, as LeBron calls it, flapping or falling, I guess, whatever. I loved it. The NBA playoffs this weekend were fantastic, as they always say. And I tell you what, that's what I want to open up with. But the one thing I found interesting is it's the NBA playoffs are the best part about the NBA, but it's like when we talked about the no-hitters last week, I kept talking about in baseball, are no-hitters good for baseball? So the no-hitters are, yes, they're great. They're still something great to witness, but it's also a problem because it's exposing a problem. The no-hitters are great for baseball, but they're bad for baseball because they expose a problem. That's what the NBA playoffs do for me, is the NBA playoffs, as enjoyable as that product was over the weekend, that's not the same product you get during the regular season.
Right.
And that's why, so the NBA playoffs, it's a double-edged sword because it's gonna suck in a lot of fans. It feels big. For one, the crowd being back helps. Let's just be all that's one reason. I think that's why you saw a lot more passionate play too. Fans have been sprinkled throughout the NBA season all year. No secret about it. But there was something about yesterday. By the way, here's the max capacity. Just fill up the damn arenas, because this whole half capacity, partial capacity thing. The whole reason you have partial capacity, Kev, is so that you could still spread people out and keep them within a safe social distance, right? What's the point of Madison Square Garden fitting up to 18,000, only putting 15,000 in, not spreading anyone out, still packing them in? I'm not against the packing them in thing if that's what you're going to do, but then why not just have the other 3,000 seats available? Stop pretending, we got to stop doing this whole charade of, we're doing it to be safe. No, you're doing it because you have to, which is, at that point, it becomes dumb. fill up the damn arenas. You're already partial full. The empty seats are empty as a group, and everyone that's sitting at the arena you haven't packed in. So at that point, you might as well pack everyone in, every seat in there. But even with that, the atmospheres of these games, like the fans were like they were the big MVPs. They were the big winners of this weekend, because when I found it being weird. I was watching the Knicks game yesterday. I'm like, this game's the Suns and the Knicks and Lakers, all that. I'm like, this game's weird. Like, when they hit a big play, I even started getting goosebumps at a couple big moments of those games. I'm like, holy crap, the fans. I got so used to watching games without it that I forgot. And I've always known I missed the fans of the games, but like, I just realized how important they are to a broadcast, because even as a viewer, whether you're listening on the radio, watching at home, you feed off of it. Yes, at the game, the players feed off the crowd energy. You at the game feed off the crowd around you's energy, but just watching a game with fans, watching big moment after big moment, watching the players kind of feed off of it too. What a big weekend it was in the NBA.
Huge weekend in the NBA, man. You touched on it about the crowd interaction with the fans. I mean, we're going to talk about the little scuffle that happened between the Lakers and the Suns, but when those type of things happen in an NBA game, the second thing that you look at is the fan reaction to what's going on. I love to see the pictures floating around after the fact, and then to zoom in on fans' faces pointing at the action that's going on. The real winners of this whole NBA weekend is us, the fan, not only the people that are at the game, but us watching at home, because it does create a better viewing experience to have fans there. I mean, we're all grown adults. We can tell the difference between piped in noise and real crowd noise. And we got to experience real crowd noise, real crowd excitement from big time plays during these basketball games. It was awesome.
All right, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers and Orion Sports Medicine. So I want to rewind back to my point before my ADD took off and I got off track a little bit. As I mentioned last week when we were talking about the no-hitters in baseball, people were trying to convince everyone that these no-hitters are no good for baseball. There's never a scenario that no-hitters are no good for baseball. They are good for baseball, but sometimes what they end up exposing is the problem. Like, we got to stop vilifying the product that is exposing the issue. So the no-hitters are fine for baseball. We spent more time talking about no-hitters for baseball than the actual point of the no-hitters being that there's just not really good hitting in baseball. The no-hitting is the problem. The NBA playoffs exposed the NBA for the product during the regular season, that through no fault of the athletes alone, because, again, it's an 82-game season. All we do is preach the importance of legacies of these athletes, and the legacies are not established in the regular season. In fact, we try to pretend like we care about MVPs and regular season accomplishments, but all of that means nothing if you have a great 72, 82 regular season game stretch and then you disappear in the playoffs. Anthony Davis was amazing this year for the Lakers when he was healthy and when he was out on the floor, but that means nothing because he disappeared in game one against the Suns, and now that's all everyone's talking about. No one is saying, man, Anthony Davis, he had a bad game, but man, he was great during the regular season. No, your legacy is what is built in the playoffs. So players know it, coaches know it, front offices and organizations know it, and they try to keep the fans from realizing that as well, because they want us to buy into the importance of the regular season. But what I watched yesterday and over the weekend, that's not what we saw during the regular season. So I think I could point out the problem in the regular season at the same time of understanding why the product's not as good. I don't like that athletes are trying to build in off days into their contracts and everything else, but I understand why. Doesn't mean I have to like it. So I started looking, Kev, at this season, like the way the NBA has taken off. And if you want to talk about the fact, like I saw people over the weekend saying, man, do they even play defense in the NBA? Defense was being played yesterday. In fact, the Suns won 99-90. I can't remember the last NBA game I watched from start to finish, from tip to finish, that finished with both teams finishing under 100 points. Hell, even the Hawks and the Knicks.
Try any Cavs game.
Yeah. Well, 107-105 was the final for the Knicks and the Hawks. Of course, Knicks go down at the hands of the Hawks, and the Grizzlies won 112-109. I know those sound like high-scoring games. Those are actually they're relatively average-scoring games for today's product. Like that 112-109 finish, the Grizzlies over the Jazz. That's a good, hard-fought finish. What I don't like, as crazy as this sounds, Kev, I hate 138 to 128 games. That's not entertaining to me. I know people think, and we've talked about this a lot, people want scoring. People want a balance. People want a balance. So I looked at it this year. This is the last in 2019, 20, and 21. It's the first 3 seasons in NBA history that every team in the NBA has averaged over 100 points a game. 3 straight seasons of every team in the NBA averaging over 100. The Cavs were the worst scoring team in basketball, Kev. You know how many points a game they averaged? 103. The Cavaliers averaged 103 points a game, and they were the worst scoring team in basketball. You know that 10 years ago, the Cavs 103 points per game mark, that would have put them at the 10th best scoring margin in the National Basketball Association. And right now, that's the worst in the NBA. I looked all the way back at the year 2000, Kev. The leading scorer, or the highest scoring team in basketball back in the year 2000 was the Dallas Mavericks, averaging 105 points per game. There were only 4 teams in the NBA in 2000 that averaged over 100 points a game. There were only 4 teams in the NBA in the year 2000 that averaged over 100 points per game. Today, every team in the NBA averages over 100 points per game. If you go back to 2016, 7 teams averaged less than 100 points per game. 15 teams averaged less than 100 points per game in 2015. 19 teams in 2013. So we're not even a full decade's worth of numbers to show, the quick increase in points per game from the league as a whole. Yes, it's the 3-point line. Yes, it's the approach, but it's just the overall skill set of not just the players, but the coaches and the offensive schemes that they're bringing to the table as well. But yesterday, it was enjoying watching good, hard-fought games. There wasn't easy layups at the bucket. Guys were actually getting down in a defensive stance, with the high hand. They were contesting shots. They were fighting through screens. They were boxing out. It was just good, hard, physical play, and that's what I love. That's what I absolutely love. And I tell you what, if the playoffs, if what we watch in the regular season could just find a way to look remotely close to what we watch in the playoffs, I guarantee you more viewers, the ratings would go back up for the NBA. But I do think as good as the product is in the playoffs, it's just a reminder that this is not what we get in the regular season. The NBA has a problem on their hands, Kev, because it's going to be really tough to get people to buy into the regular season after watching an entire playoffs worth of really good, hard-fought games to what we're in store for here over the coming months.
For me, it's kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg? Did players stop caring about the regular season first, or did the fans stop caring about the regular season first? Because like you said before, we make it all about your legacy, and the only thing that matters is what you do in the playoffs or if you bring home a championship. So I think I just don't know which came first. Who said they didn't care first? Who made it only about the playoffs first? Was it us in the media? Was it the fans? Was it the players? I think it's a combination of all three, where the players have a retort to everything that the fans and the media say and say, like, okay, only the regular season don't count. I'm going to chill all regular season. And then in that turn, the fans say, well, you're not playing hard in the regular season. I'm not going to watch to the playoffs. And then us in the media complain about, hey, man, nobody's playing during the regular season. But as soon as the playoffs tip off, you see the true athleticism, the true competitive nature, real basketball from these guys. I think it's a vicious cycle. I don't know how it can be fixed. I'm not trying to act like I do. But what I do know is we had a ton of great games over the weekend, not just on Sunday, but we had a buzzer beater basically happen between the Bucks and the Heat. Jimmy Butler was absolutely horrible in that game, but he sent it to overtime with a bucket. And then you had Chris Middleton with a step back game winner. He's the go-to guy on that team, even though Giannis is probably the most talented guy on that team. You had a outstanding performance from Dame and Melo versus the Nuggets. It was just jam-packed with action over the weekend with NBA basketball. And I tell everybody who's grew up in the 90s and loves that era of basketball, you are missing out on some great basketball if you're not tuning in. If you want to be just stuck in your bubble and saying, well, they don't play any defense, it was better back then. Look, man, you're missing out, and you got to be able to adapt. Just like the NBA is adapting to the new way of playing basketball with the 3-point shot constantly, we as fans have to adapt and understand what we're watching and enjoy it for what it is, not just harp on the olden days.
All right, Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Monday, NBA playoffs over the weekend. And look, we don't talk a ton of NBA on the show, and we're going to be highlighting a lot more again as we're kind of going through the playoffs and stuff. How about Obi Toppin yesterday making his debut in that game, one of the best games of the weekend in the Hawks, of course, in the Hawks and the Knicks yesterday. And, you had Trae Young, who ends up having his Reggie Miller moment with Spike Lee, silences the crowd instead of kind of doing the choke sign at Spike Lee. He's putting his finger up to his mouth, not just telling him, but the entire arena just to be quiet.
Ice tray.
The breakout stars too. I mean, this is why last year's playoffs, I think the one reason too, the playoffs feed the regular season. The playoffs feed the excitement for next year's regular season. And what I mean by that is I know that the NBA did a fantastic job. They did about as good a job as any professional sport out there is navigating through the pandemic. They took a hiatus for a good chunk of last year to get ready for the bubble. But the bubble without fans, with it being on a neutral floor, I know it was the playoffs. It was a championship with the Lakers and LeBron, but I don't care what anyone says. It didn't feel like the playoffs. It was great to have something to watch during last year's horrific year, but it wasn't the same. So it's like there was no buzz created in the bubble last year. Like there was no cliffhangers. There was no, man, I can't wait to see what these guys do next year. It was just thank God that season's done. Thank God. That's how we felt. We were excited to have sports last year, but by the time the season's ended, we were excited that baseball was done. Like, thank God, that was a mess. It was an emotional roller coaster between hearing the athletes cry about money and everything, the millionaire athletes and everything. Glad it's done. The NBA, man, it was cool to watch the NBA navigate through it. They did better than the NFL, Major League Baseball, everybody, as far as PR is even concerned. They killed it. But we were glad that it was done. For college football, couldn't wait for the season to get there. We were bummed there was going to be no Buckeyes season. Then there was. They get to a title game. We were just glad the season was over because it was just an emotional up and down thing. There was no buzz created in the playoffs last year to take into this regular season. I think what we've already seen in the infancy stages of these playoffs, I think it's a great thing for the league because it's not just the focus is on LeBron and Chris Paul and some of the veterans, but you saw the big breakout game from Trae Young. You saw Jason Tatum had that 50-point performance in the play-in game, and they played tough against the Nets in the first round. So you're going to be keeping an eye on Kevin Durant and those guys, but you're watching the young stars too, who are having these big moments and these big performances in the playoffs. John Morant, Devin Booker. I forgot Keith Byers and I talked about that on his show earlier today. Devin Booker has been around a while. That was his first playoff game, and there was no nerves. That was going up against the defending champions. You're going up against LeBron. You're going up against Anthony Davis. But he was cool, calm, and collected as that game went on. Every time the Lakers started to make a run, it was Devin Booker who was making big plays. With the focus being on the shoulder of Chris Paul, it was Devin Booker making big clutch shot after big clutch shot. That was cool seeing him have that breakout moment. Because let's be clear, ask Giannis. You could have MVPs, you could have breakout regular seasons, but if you don't get it done in the playoffs, people lose their not respect, but they lose that admiration of you. If you have a quiet regular season and a big run in the playoffs and where you just go off, you're going to be more respected heading into that next season than having a great regular seasons just don't mean much right now for whatever reason. And you talked about it, the chicken or the egg, what happened first. We don't know at what point did the regular season not have a meaning, because I'm telling you, when I was younger growing up, Thursday nights, TNT, I had to watch those games. I had to risk getting grounded by staying up later at night to sneak to watch those games. Now, for me, as much as I love the NBA, there was zero urgency for me to watch any games in the regular season this year.
You talked about it last week about when Vanessa Bryant was talking about Kobe and strapping it up for, the fans and everything like that. I saw a stat about Michael Jordan the last championship season, the last dance or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And he played in all 82 games. In the very last game of the regular season where they had the Eastern Conference by 5 games, last game of the regular season, he played 42 minutes. That would never happen today.
No,
ever.
The second that 5-game gap is in play, they're resting already.
Doing my nails on the bench.
Yep.
Like, that is insane. And to be perfectly honest, playing 42 minutes, like, why? Why are you playing at that age, at 35? Why are you even playing 42 minutes? But they played the Knicks. It was in Madison Square. The Bulls last time, Jordan's last time playing in Madison Square and everything like that. Looking at it now, like, man, that seems weird, but that's just how it was. I'm not saying that the guys need to do that now, but it would be cool to have games that mattered more than, all right, once a month, like, oh man, it's a big matchup with Giannis and LeBron. Oh man, this is a big matchup between Philly and the Bucks. Like every like couple weeks is a big matchup that I tuned in for. But I'm a basketball joneser, so I was watching tons of terrible Cavs basketball games, whatever games were coming on, NBA TV on a Wednesday night. I'm watching and everything like that. But I would love for it to get back to a point where the regular season mattered not only to the fans, but to the players as well. And I think that's where it can start. the fans can care about the regular season all they want, but it's truly up to the players to care about the regular season and play in those regular season games and bring that intensity from I don't think you can bring that intensity from the playoffs to the regular season. You'll burn yourself out, but I think that they can turn it up a notch. We've all played pickup basketball where, the first couple games you just out there going through the motions. And that seems like what the regular season in the NBA is. Like later and later it goes. Like I think teams like have valleys and peaks about when they're going, turn it on. Like, all right, man, let's turn it on. Let's get for these 10 games and we'll chill for 5 games. Turn it on it's like ups and peaks and valleys. Peaks and valleys.
The Nets would have one of those dominant games where it's like they can rest their head on that and say, see, tonight we just blew a team out, put 140 up, win by 30. We just reminded everyone why we're the best team in the NBA. And then you'd have guys take off a few nights, so then they wouldn't return to that peak as you talked about. It's like they're in a constant battle with themselves.
What about this though? What about this? When Golden State they broke the Bulls record for regular season wins with 73 wins in the regular season, and they were outright saying that they were going for it, and Steph ends up getting hurt and everything like that in the regular season and misses like the last 10 games, but they still end up, breaking that record and everything like that. Maybe that was the turning point. Maybe that was like the ultimate stamp where everybody was saying like, all right, it's load management, because, let Warriors fans tell you that is the reason why they didn't win the championship, because like they went for a record and tried to prove something and end up in the long run hurting themselves. I just don't know, man. As much as I love the NBA, I want everybody to love it as much as I do. And I truly think it's on the players to give that maximum effort during the regular season to rope in the casual fan again, not just on Christmas Day and then on MLK Day, All-Star Weekend, a week before the regular season ends, and then everybody checks in on the playoffs. It's like people have those check-in markers, like opening day, opening night tip-off, Christmas, All-Star Weekend, a week before the regular season's end, and then now everybody's locked in now.
Yeah, and with that too, and look, fans aren't dumb. We'll pick up with this. 457-9464. How many of you, I'm not watching the NBA anymore, watched the NBA over the weekend, and what were your thoughts on it? 457-9464. We believe we got the phone lines figured out. We think. So give us a call, 457-9464. We're live on YouTube, ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel, Facebook, The Justin Kinner Show. Go hang out with us there. You can watch the show, but then also jump in on the conversation. Shout out to John Cunningham on Facebook. He says, love you guys. Keep up the great work, Kevin, Justin. Thank you, John. We appreciate that as well. Keith Tolliver says that the NBA was great, no doubt. He also says that Trae Young, you cry way too much to tell anybody to shut up. So, shots fired. Shots are fired.
Like Ice Trae?
So,
Young Ice Trae.
Look, it was just a very good weekend of NBA basketball. It was one hell of a sports weekend. For there being no football, that was one of the best sports weekends I can remember, where it was just, there was one big headline coming out after another, and the NFL struggled to keep pace with everybody, which is a good thing. They should not be keeping pace with everyone. It's freaking end of May. They have nothing, but they're still in the headlines today. In fact, Julio Jones, the point of conversation, Shannon Sharp, he's just being destroyed right now. And I feel bad for him. We'll talk about that coming up around the corner. But I'm curious. NBA thoughts, the playoffs, the best part about the NBA. It's also the worst part because it reminds people of what the regular season is not. We'll pick up with this conversation next. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers and Orion Sports Medicine next.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy, a high near 88. Tonight's going to be partly cloudy, a low near 65. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy, a high near 90. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather brought to you by Cullet Seal Coating, protecting the asphalt surfaces around your home, office, or commercial property. Crack filling, asphalt sealing, and parking lot striping. Find us at culletsealcoating.com.
I'm Dr. Andrea Russo, a cardiologist. Maybe you're waiting to talk to your doctor right now. But if you're having an irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, don't wait. This could be a serious condition like atrial fibrillation, which can make you about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you're having these symptoms, don't wait. Talk to a doctor by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
You think buckling up is a personal choice? That it doesn't hurt anyone else? You would be wrong. Your choice could shatter the lives of your family, friends, and everyone you know. That's why we enforce seatbelt laws, to save lives. Think about that every time you drive. Buckling up isn't just a good idea, it's a choice between surviving a crash or not. Make sure you and everyone in the vehicle buckles up every time. Click it or ticket. Paid for by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Hi everyone, Pete Kasuja here again to tell you our Grow Better bedding plants are ready to plant now, and we have 20,000 flats to choose from. It's also time to plant your vegetable plants, and now we not only have our world famous neighbor beater tomato plants, but we have over 95 varieties of vegetable plants like peppers, cabbage, cantaloupe, cauliflowers, eggplants, and more. Wow, grab a napkin, you're drooling. Folks, our customers have sent our plants all over the country. Try these plants in your garden. You're going to love them. And don't forget, we have thousands of shade trees and shrubs ready to load. We have hundreds of rose bushes starting at $12.95 and bonsai trees for $17.95. So come out soon to 1309 Brant Pike, where we're open 7 days.
Because it's my vision, I take the most studied eye vitamin brand.
Because it's my vision, I take the eye vitamin brand backed by 20 years of research.
Because it's my vision, I take PreserVision. Age-related macular degeneration is the leading cause of vision loss in adults over 60. That's why the National Eye Institute did 20 years of clinical studies on the formula that's found in PreserVision. From the eye experts at Bausch & Lomb, PreserVision AREDS 2 formula eye vitamins contain the exact nutrient formula recommended by the National Eye Institute to help reduce the risk of moderate to advanced AMD progression.
Because it's my vision, I made a plan with my doctor that includes PreserVision. Find PreserVision in the vitamin aisle. Available at Walmart.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
All right, we've got lucky caller number 4, Marcus, on the line. If he answers this question, he wins a new car.
Let's do this.
Okay, for a new car, name the only actor to appear in...
And now a message from our sponsor.
With 24/7 support and quick and easy claims, Progressive protects what matters most. Progressive.
Films all in the same year.
Wait, sorry, I didn't hear the question.
3 seconds, Marcus.
Yeah, no, but there was an ad in the middle.
You didn't answer.
But I didn't hear anything.
Oh, Marcus, you dropped it in the dirt.
Progressive. There's never a bad time for great protection. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
It's all about getting the most out of summer. And with certified refurbished from eBay, you can enjoy 100% of summer with up to 50% savings on top brands, plus a 15% off coupon through Memorial Day. So tackle your to-do list and break out the playlist with like new products from the brands you love. We're talking Bose, Works, iRobot, and more, all at up to 50% savings. And now through Memorial Day, get an extra 15% off coupon to save even more with certified refurbished. Shop Memorial Day savings at eBay today.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider and are only available if the provider determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. You pay just $30 for a month's supply. And right now, get your first online doctor's visit totally free. 4hims.com/radio. That's right, free. Zero copay, no expensive appointments, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. Hims connects you to doctors online who can evaluate you and, if appropriate, prescribe your ED medication. And a pharmacy sends it right to your door. Hims makes it affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to. And that's really good news. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
It's all about the nose. It's your air filter, the first line of defense against bacteria and viruses. If too many germs get stuck in your nose, guess what? You get sick. That's why it's so important to keep your nose clean, just like washing your hands. Nasal irrigation gets rid of germs by rinsing the nasal cavity, but neti pots are hard to use and, frankly, kind of gross. Now there's a better way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself. It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. Millions use Navage for fast, all-natural relief from sinus congestion and allergies, and to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage is easy to use, affordable, and comes with an absolute guarantee of satisfaction. You wash your hands and brush your teeth every day. Now it's time to start cleaning your nose with Navage. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
You may have heard that Allstate has new low auto rates, but isn't it time to see for yourself? Visit Allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
Well, after 2 days off, the Cincinnati Reds will be off again tonight. Oh, no, they played over the weekend, but they still technically took off the weekend, dropping 2 or 3 to the Brewers. But, hey, they at least didn't get swept like they did against the Giants, so there's that at least. But, we welcome you back. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Hanging out with you here on a Monday. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Excuse the noise in the background. There's 24 hours in a day. There's 8 hours in a work day, and the mowers always seem to pick 3 o'clock, the start of our show, to decide to mow right outside of our building. Shouts to them. Picking up where we left off, last part on this, and, the NBA people are crying, enough NBA, enough, just chill. 3 hours in the show.
Hold your brakes.
Hold your break. Yeah. Plenty of time to talk NBA. There's plenty of time to get into Buckeyes and Browns, Bengals, NFL, and other stuff. Just chillax, folks. Everyone has to get all fired up. We're talking about, the playoffs, as much as I enjoyed watching the playoffs, I'm like, well, where was it? I tried so many times throughout this past season to sit down and watch a game from tip to finish. I just couldn't do it. It was very difficult at times, and it's not for all the reasons that people think they don't watch the NBA. Oh, they're too political, blah, blah, blah. Get out of here with that. Like, you weren't watching the NBA before. You needed something because you were getting tired of the same old, they don't play defense anymore. Like, that was always the go-to. Those fans that kept going to that, they got bored with that same reasoning, so now they needed something to jump on, and it was, they're too political for my liking. I like the football where they're political, but I really like the sport, so I'm going to watch it anyways. Like, that's the thing. The same people that say they don't watch NBA because it's too political, they're the same people that also watch political football and watch political baseball because every sport took on the political realm of whatever the talking point was. So stop with this. I don't watch the NBA because it's too political. You watch the Browns? You watch the Bengals? You watch the NFL? The NFL was political, but because you really like the product, you watch it anyway. So enough with that. You don't watch the NBA because you don't like basketball. That's fine. But stop with these stupid reasons as to why you don't watch the sport. Because I promise you, yesterday's game winner, that happened political or not. These entertaining games happen whether they're political or not. So enough of that. Like, I don't want to hear that. You've been, these same people chirping about, the same people I keep hearing say I don't watch it anymore because it's too political. You were the people blasting us before last year about talking NBA. So what was it before that? Like, it's been political for a while. Stop. I don't want to hear that. But anyways, my point is watching the playoffs, it's frustrating. Enjoyed what I watched because it was so damn good. I'm like, why can't you channel this in the regular season? But I can't get mad at the NBA, at the players for not valuing the regular season because it's kind of tough. It's 82 games. I know it was only 72 this year. But there was a point in the regular season where LeBron and the Lakers were asked about, their thoughts on, they were the 1 seed at the time. They were, there's the mower again. Again, he knows we're on the air, so he's just coming right by to make sure we hear him. Anyways, my ADD is in full force today. So it's interesting because LeBron, the Lakers, 1 seed, best record in the NBA back in early January, asked about, the thoughts heading into the last couple months of the season, into the playoffs, but thoughts about holding on to the 1 seed because AD was hurt at the time. And he goes, look, we don't care what seed we get. We're not afraid to play anybody. We don't care. And although I know what he was saying, you got to understand how fans listen and hear things. What fans heard was we don't care about seeding. So when you don't care about seeding, that means there's no urgency of, well, you don't have AD for a while. Oh, we don't, it's fine if we don't have AD. It's fine if we lose some games. We don't care where we're seeded, because the question was positioned as, you guys want that one seed. You don't want to be worried about the play-in tournament. You don't want to be on the road. You want to host your games because, again, no bubble this year. You actually get to host fans and all that stuff. And LeBron said, I don't care about that. Same thing with Kevin Durant when they were talking to him about, Kyrie missing so many games and him missing so many games. And he just said, we're going to be dangerous in the playoffs no matter what. We don't care about seeding. I'm hearing that too much. The players aren't wrong for their mindset, because if they said, we got to get the best seed possible because we don't want to play so-and-so, then we would take it and twist it and run with that. But when the fans constantly hear players say, we don't care about seeding, we don't care about seeding, we don't care about seeding, whether it was their intent or not, the message that's being kicked out to their fans are, well, we don't, the regular season, who cares? We just, once we're in the playoffs, we're fine. Well, LeBron and the Lakers, they flirted with disaster. You're a 7 seed. You're 1 seed away from not being, or 2 seeds away from not even being in the playoffs. So don't say you don't care about seeding, because you do, because if you didn't, LeBron wouldn't have bitched about the play-in tournament to begin with. So I think there's a lot of moving factors that play a role in the fans not respecting the regular season. That could be one of them right there. I don't blame the players for not respecting it, but counterpoint here, I should say, Kev, fans also aren't stupid. For instance, fans don't get mad every time a player rests. Fans are intelligent. They know when it makes sense to rest and when it doesn't. There are too many situations where fans don't respect players who say, I'm not going to play back-to-backs. MJ played back-to-backs. All the greats played back-to-backs. 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds play back-to-back. What's the point of sitting out? Are you hurt? Why are you sitting out? I don't want to hear any of that. So fans don't respect that. But I use the NFL as an example. Remember week 16, 17 of last year, your Steelers rested a bunch of players. Were you, as a Steelers fan, did you lose respect for your team because they rested players?
No.
Because you and every fan out there, no fans were complaining about that. They understood it. They get it. Fans aren't dumb. We as fans understand when it makes sense to rest a player. If LeBron coming off a high ankle sprain, they wanted to rest him more throughout. It made sense that, of course, you want to do that down the stretch or whatever. But I think what fans are having a hard time with is the Kyries and the Kawhis of the world, who are just taking off days, personal days, which is hypocritical. We get personal days at our job, but again, we view sports through a different lens. I know it's not okay to say we don't look at them as people, but at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, we don't relate to them as people, so it's hard to do that. But I definitely get where fans aren't dumb. They're not just looking at these guys like they're just robots that have to play for them whenever they're ready. Fans are able to decipher the players who are giving it their all and taking off days to be smart, and those who are just taking an off day to take an off day. And I think that's where the NBA is running into it. Too many players just saying, I'm not playing back-to-backs. I've been playing for 10 straight games. I need an off day. Fans are too smart. They've watched the game for too long to get to this point. All of a sudden now, why are athletes now who are in better shape now than what they were 10, 15, 20 years ago? Why do you need off days? And the guys that were in less shape than you 10, 15, 20 years ago, they could play a full 82-game season while even being banged up. What's your take on that?
One thing about that whole thing is, players like Kevin Durant and LeBron James have been around a very long time, and they're much smarter than that to be saying they don't care about seeding. Let's say you don't care about seeding. Let's say you don't care. Like, man, I just want to be in the tournament. I just want to be in the playoffs, and we'll take it as we see fit. But you want to be talking to your home fans. You always want to be talking to the fans and have the fans on your side. Like how Phil Mickelson, he's always been a fan favorite because he loves the fans. He's always got an open arm to his fan base in golf. And that's how we want our NBA stars to be. We always want them to give us themselves. And when you pay big money to go to a Lakers game, so say you're Cleveland Cavaliers, you're a Cavs fan, and the Lakers come to town, and LeBron's coming to town, and AD's coming to town, and LeBron and AD decide, I ain't playing tonight. You are crushed, because not only do the Cavaliers, they up the price for those Laker tickets, parking goes up. So you and your family of four just went to go see LeBron and AD and the Lakers, because trust me, you're not going to see the Cavaliers. You're not going to see them bums play. You're going to see the real show in the NBA, and they decide to take the game off. That's disheartening to the fan base. Like, when you do those type of things. Yes, I'm with guys taking time off when you're hurt. Obvious. Like, if you hurt, don't play. Like, duh. Like, okay, I wasn't even on KD like that. Like, yo, he's coming off a catastrophic injury. All right, you ain't ready to play. You ain't ready to play. But when you have guys like Kyrie, and as much as I'm a person that believes in individuality and everything like that, and I support a lot of things that Kyrie is doing off the court, a lot of that stuff sometimes appears to get in the way of, you know what I'm saying, his job. And his job is playing basketball. So when you rob the fan base, that's when people turn their back on you. When you're not playing and they're doing your job, and part of your job is to play ball and entertain us, you're robbing the fan base. And the fan base is a major part of the reason why you are who you are. Your fans are the ones that are buying your jersey. Your fans are the ones that are buying your sneakers. Your fans are the ones watching your highlights or retweeting your crossover moves and everything like that. You have to give yourself to the fans and make sure the fans know you appreciate them. And the best way you can show your fans you appreciate them is playing the game. It's playing the game. Playing the game that you get paid to do and go win a championship. Now, the other coin to that is whatever team, be it the Nets, Lakers, Clippers, whichever team ends up winning this championship, it's all going to be worth it because they're walking away with a championship. You can sit out a million games. KD could have sat out the entire regular season and showed up for the playoffs, and fans would have been all mad, pissed off, and everything like that. If they wanted ticked off like that, and if they
we don't talk like that on this show,
and if they won a championship, it's all worth it. Just like when Kawhi took load management days with the Raptors, they won the championship. Well, it was all worth it because we got the championship. But that's the thing about it. It's only one champion. It's only going to be one happy team, one happy fan base at the end of the day. So multiple guys, multiple stars across the league taking load management time off, that's what creates the divide in the fans versus the players, because everybody's not going to win. Your team's not going to win. Your favorite player's not going to win. Unless they win the championship, you're not going to say, well, it was worth it. And that's where the divide is. So everybody's betting on themselves to win the championship and taking these days off. But 9 times out of 10, you probably ain't going to win because you have a 1 in 32 chances of winning a championship. And you taking load management. I just think it's a sticky situation with the players and the fan base right now, man. I'm a big fan. I mean, a big player guy. But when you taking these load management games and taking nights off and not giving your 100% effort out there and everything like that, fans will turn on you. Fans, everybody's not like me. Everybody's not like me watching these basketball games till 1 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday night just because I love basketball. Everybody's not like that. Majority of people out there only watch when it matters. And those are the people that you need to keep on your side. You don't need to keep me on your side. I'm on your side regardless because I love basketball. Oh, KD ain't playing. Oh, who's this other dude that they got out there? Oh, he's from the G League. Let me go Google him. Oh, man, he played at Texas A&M. He averaged 18 points. Oh, man, he got a nice little jumper. Let me find out more about him.
Yeah, that ain't happening for me.
That ain't happening
for you, bro.
That don't happen with the average person. That only happens with basketball Jonesers like myself that just can't get enough of it. You don't need me. I'm there regardless. They need you. They need Bob. They need Tony. They need all these other people out there to be on their side.
Forget Bob. I don't need Bob. Tony, fine. No. So you brought up an interesting point earlier about, the home games.
Mm-hmm.
That you got to understand something. Do you realize that the NBA doesn't care about the home fans? The fan base in the games that the NBA cares about more than anything else? National televised games.
True that.
So what I mean by that is Adam Silver doesn't care if little Tim and little Nicky go to an NBA game and they can't wait to watch LeBron at the Staples Center and LeBron's not there to play. Adam Silver don't care about that. What Adam Silver cares about is if LeBron's taking an off night on the night that the Lakers and the Kings are supposed to play on ESPN. Mm-hmm. That's when Adam Silver cares. That's when the league cares because the TV deal is what's most important. And here's where I'll counter your point about, the players needing off days. So the season starts in November? So it's November, December, let's just say from when the games start. November, December, January, February, March, April, May. That's 8 months. That's 8, 16. So 240 nights, 240 days in a regular season, roughly on an average. Of those 240 days in an NBA playable season, you play 82 nights of those 240 days. I'm sorry, Kev, but I why does an off day need to be a game night?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't load management be a practice thing?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I get frustrated because, for instance, you know how the NFL does load management? Load management is not a game thing in the NFL. I talked to Keith Byers about this. Keith said, he goes, load management's always been in the NFL. He goes, but the NFL, they actually are smart and they don't use games as part of load management. They use practices or load management.
Right.
Tom Brady doesn't need to practice 5 days
on
a week.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Tom Brady needs to, the first couple walkthroughs, prepping for that team, film sessions, but Tom Brady doesn't need to be doing sprints and conditioning and all that stuff. I mean, he needs it, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't need to be doing that 5 days a week. So that's where I don't sympathize with NBA players. This whole Kyrie needs an off day thing. You mean, what was yesterday? What was your off day? What were you doing on your off day yesterday? Hell, Phil Jackson understood the importance of it because Dennis Rodman's wired differently. I mean, he gave him an off 2 weeks to fly to Vegas to have fun with Carmen Electra or whatever. Actually, technically, he didn't give him that permission for the 2 weeks. He just, he took an inch, took a mile. He gave an inch, and took a mile. But do you see my point where that's where I come at you with the counter to that point is I get what you mean. Like, yes, some players are going to need off nights, but game nights should not be your off nights. You don't play every night. It's not like in the 240 days throughout a season that you need, that of all the off nights, skip, maybe coaches don't have practices a couple nights a week, which, by the way, I don't even know what the NBA schedule is like. I would love to, we're going to talk to Chris Wright on Wednesday. I want to hear from him about what an NBA season is like from a practice standpoint. Walk us through the physicality and the day-to-days of an NBA season in regards to your practice sessions, because that's where your off day should come, not game night. If I'm a coach, I'm like, listen, or if I'm the league, off night's fine. Coaches, limit practices, take practices back, which I would still mock, but not to the point of players actually waking up on a game day and not having the juice in them to say, man, I got to be out on the floor today. Michael had it. All the greats have it. And there's some that don't. And I question that. But practices should be your off days. That's your load management days, just like in the NFL. Baseball, same thing. On off days, like the Reds are off today, they're not doing anything baseball related today. I mean, they're traveling, of course. They're going to be playing at Washington starting tomorrow, but they're not doing anything today. This is their off day, if that's what you want to call it, I guess. So.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can't disagree. I can't disagree at all. I mean, I think maybe it's just a simple fact of that it is 82 games. 82 games.
240 days.
But for sure. But like I said, I'm not a fan of it. I've never been a big fan of it. I understand like all the science behind it and everything like that. So if they have all this science behind it that says like, oh man, loads management is better for your body and you'll be more explosive, your career lasts longer. All I know is dudes that have been load management for a long time, like a Kawhi Leonard, he should be playing till he's 45 because the amount of load management he's been doing. So that's all I'll say.
That's a good point. But I would take Michael Jordan's shorter career. Like, would you rather have LeBron's super long career or and this isn't a championship versus championship debate, so everyone cool it. If you look at Michael Jordan's 13 year, how long was his run? It was longer than 13. It wasn't 13 years.
Total of like I want to say 15.
So 15. All right, and that includes the Wizards or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So with that being said, it's just one of those things where he went balls to the wall for a short amount of time. Okay, but he maximized that time.
Mm-hmm.
To where these players are like, well, I'm not going to maximize my time. I'm just going to try, they're going to get, they want quantity over quality.
Right.
To where MJ's career was quality over quantity. I want quality over quantity. I don't want 25 years of LeBron James if it's not going to mean the max, and LeBron's a bad example. Kawhi Leonard. I don't care about 25 years of Kawhi Leonard if it's just going to be stretched out average basketball, which he's not average, but you see my point.
Yeah.
I will take quantity of a ton of games, a ton of practices, going to go balls to the wall over, or the quality of it over quantity. It's going to go balls to the wall, shorter amount of time, but you're going to get the absolute best of that guy for a shorter amount of time versus getting a little bit of a guy for a longer amount of time. I don't see how Kawhi Leonard or Kyrie Irving a half-ass approach for 25 years benefits the league more than Kyrie Irving going balls to the wall for 10 years, I guess is how I view it. But that's how it's all up to them, but that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I just, like I said, loads management's been like the new thing. And okay, you're going to do it, so you better have a longer career. And, we have these examples of guys with degenerative knees, like Amari Stoudemire. He had a degenerative knee, and that's part of the reason why he didn't get that big contract with the Knicks and everything like that, because of the knee issue. And that's what guys are leaning on. You know what? if that's the only guy that y'all gonna lean on, like you constantly leaning on the Amari Stoudemire situation and the Isaiah Thomas situation with his situation that happened with the Celtics, him not getting the big contract and everything like that. Those are small examples of things not going their way. So if those are going to be the examples, I expect guys to play a longer career, because if you're only going to play, quote unquote, only going to play 13 years and you load management half of your career. And like you said, the guys in the 90s have played 13 years smoking cigars and cigarettes and drinking beers in the locker room, played 15 years, then all that science means nothing. You know what I'm saying? You didn't maximize the science. And like I said before, with the science and load management and everything like that, it all only matters if you win a championship. So if you did all these things, you load manage, you got all the science in your favor, you better have a lot more rings at the end of the day. Better have more.
What are you saving yourself for?
Yeah, exactly. What's the point if you don't have the jewelry for it and all the stats and all the accolades and everything like that? Then what's the point? What's the point? Because that's why you play. You play to win championships. And if you don't have the championships and the accolades and the love of the fans, then why are you playing? So, hey man, they can do it all they want. It's on them. But at the end of the day, us as the fan base going to determine your greatness or not, because us as fans, we have the final say so. You know, like as much as a Kawhi Leonard fan that I am, he's not in the conversation of the GOAT status. As much as a fan as KD I am, I'm not putting him up here in a GOAT status. You know, I love KD. I love watching KD play basketball. I think he's probably the best scorer I've ever seen in my life. But if he's going to load manage next season, after a year after the bad injury, I'll have a problem with that.
All right. Again, as I mentioned, by the way, Justin Kinner Show. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Monday. The show brought to you by Kirkland and Sommers and Orion Sports Medicine. I know. Tyler Schrody says, oh, wait, MJ played 15 years? I thought he never lost. Why doesn't he have 15 titles? I agree. Where are those 15 championships? By the way,
smoking cigars.
You know, I'm really rooting for LeBron to lose in the first round so he could start matching Michael Jordan's accomplishments, by the way. We'll be back in a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Ready for renovations? Arts Rental Equipment has the tools you need to make your home, lawn, and garden stand out this year. From brush chippers to cutoff saws, no job is too small or too big. Visit your local Arts store today. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
Hey, my name is Jonelle, and a little thing that I love about Chick-fil-A's new Lemon Kale Caesar salad is every tender, warm, juicy piece of grilled chicken. It's a Caesar salad, but it's different. You have the Parmesan breadcrumbs and the mixture of lemon with that romaine and kale. It's almost something I can't explain, but it'll make you want to sing. Lemon Kale Caesar.
Order the new Lemon Kale Caesar salad on the Chick-fil-A app today. Available for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
It's grilling season, and you got the best beef brisket money can buy. Dry rubbed to perfection, slow smoked for 8 hours, and you dared to face that perfect smoky hickory wood flavor with subpar wood cooking pellets? Introducing Kingsford 100% hardwood pellets. No fillers or binders, just 100% hardwood for 100% flavor. Learn more at kingsford.com.
O'Reilly. Don't miss out on Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. If your car could use a spring cleaning, stop by for great deals on everything you need to keep your car looking new. Like Mother's California Gold Wash and Wax, just $4.99 for a 64-ounce bottle. That's a $6 savings. Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's time to thrive outside. Spending time outside, like at an Ohio State park, is a natural way to boost your mental health. Just 15 minutes in nature can restore you. The parks are for everyone to enjoy. Visit detourtrails.ohiodnr.gov to connect to a trail near you.
Need more help? Call the Ohio Care Line at 1-800-720-9616 for free emotional support. Sponsored by the Ohio Departments of Natural Resources and Mental Health and Addiction Services. Aired by the OAB and this station.
I can't take this anymore. I have nowhere to go. I lost my job.
I feel alone.
Crisis Text Line is here to help day or night. Text 4HOPE to 741-741 for free and confidential support. Text with a trained volunteer to move from that hot moment to a cool calm.
Hi, my name is Brian Sommers, an attorney with Kirkland and Sommers. We are a law firm dedicated to divorce and family law. We have 2 locations serving Miami Valley, one near Austin Landing and the other in Troy. Remember, we're not part-time divorce and family lawyers. We're full-time here for you.
Kirkland and Sommers, trusted and experienced, a family law practice dedicated to serving you. Visit them online at kirklandandsommers.com. That's Sommers with an O, kirklandandsommers.com.
Hi, I'm Sales Manager Jason High at Germain Honda Beaver Creek, proud recipient of the prestigious President's Award. We are your local Honda dealer, and we invite you to see our newly renovated state-of-the-art facility. You'll be amazed at our selection, and remember, all new Hondas come with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit us at Route 35, just east of 675, conveniently located near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way. I'll see you soon.
There's been a lot of talk about the chicken sandwich wars lately, but only Lee's Chicken Sandwich is made famous. At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, homestyle happens here with our chicken sandwich combo for only $5.99. You'll get a fresh, never frozen chicken breast in your choice of famous recipe or spicy, topped with chipotle ranch and pickles on a brioche bun, all served with a regular side and drink. Get a taste of fame with our chicken sandwich combo for only $5.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Oh, dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions, verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email, so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report, backed by the most robust database of technician solutions. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's time for some straight talk. Sure, saving money feels good, but cutting your wireless bill in half, that feels really good. Like walk-off home run in the 9th inning kind of good. Okay, maybe not that good, but pretty darn good. With Straight Talk, you can get 25 gigs of high-speed data for $45 a month, up to 50% less than the other guys. Plus, no contract. All on America's best networks. Why pay a whole lot when you could pay half? Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Life happens. At McAfee, we make it easier for you by offering lifetime, worry-free coverage on new McAfee systems. Never a charge for repairs, never a charge for maintenance or filters. And when the day comes the system needs replaced, you're covered. Learn more at mcair.com. Any season, anytime, McAfee.
Do you have a home improvement project? Use the right tool for the job and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. Arts has the best selection from power washers and ladders to loaders and dump trailers. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
Small Business Month is here, and Dell Technologies and Windows can help you upgrade your tech with up to 45% off high-performance PCs. Work anywhere with Windows 10 Pro. Call 877-ASK-DELL.
The Reds are on the radio.
Every hit, every strikeout, every Reds victory. You can catch all of the action all season long right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Goodyear knows the importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch. Momentum starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game, and now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven. It's time for some straight talk. Sure, saving money feels good, but cutting your wireless bill in half, that feels really good. Like walk-off home run in the 9th inning kind of good. Okay, maybe not that good, but pretty darn good. With Straight Talk, you can get 25 gigs of high-speed data for $45 a month, up to 50% less than the other guys. Plus, no contract. All on America's best networks. Why pay a whole lot when you can pay half? Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
It's time for some Straight Talk. You've got real work to do, but everyone's sucking up the free Wi-Fi faster than a Mocha Choco double frap on ice. So be your own hotspot. Now with Straight Talk Wireless, get 10 gigs of hotspot data with the ultimate unlimited plan. Just $55 a month on America's largest and most dependable networks. You don't have to find a hotspot. You are the hotspot. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Compatible device required. See straighttalk.com.
Studies show that people with good oral health are more likely to have good overall health. That's why it's so important to maintain a healthy diet, to brush your teeth at least twice a day for 2 minutes, to floss once a day, and remember to see your dentist regularly. Ohio Dental Association dentists are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care. Ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association, so you know you are being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist near you, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring owner-operator and fleet owners. Dedicated home daily round-trip lanes. That's right, round-trip, get paid for all miles, 100% no-touch freight. Cordell is offering great pay, a discounted fuel program, and free on-site truck parking, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus per truck. Take advantage of the dedicated round-trip miles, sign-on bonus, and home every day or every other day. Go online to CordellTransportation.com to apply today. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Just like your favorite hometown baseball team, your Enterprise Roofing team is all about protecting home. We've been locally owned and operated since 1926. So for high quality roofing repair and replacement services you can count on down the stretch, call 937-240-2206 or visit roofup.com today. Enterprise Roofing is a proud supporter of the Cincinnati Reds.
It's Mattress Firm's best Memorial Day sale ever. For a limited time, save up to $500 on top-rated mattress brands like Sealy and Sleepy's.
You want more local content from Dayton's ESPN radio station 1410 Wing AM? Make sure you subscribe to the WING 1410 Dayton YouTube channel, where you can watch all your local shows live or go back and rewatch previous episodes of The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, The Keith Byers Show, Talking Out Loud with Sully, and more. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio. WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's live, it's local, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers.
All right, welcome back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Monday. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Off and rolling. Facebook, The Justin Kinner Show. Like, follow, jump in on the conversation there. YouTube, ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. That's where you can also watch the show live weekdays from 3 to 6. Go back, watch previous episodes in their entirety, as well as select segments and all interviews. Of course, first full hour of the show, all NBA playoff talk. How about the weekend, though? Okay, for one, the Knicks. I was glued to the Knicks game over the weekend. For one, I couldn't wait to see Obi Toppin make his playoff debut. Dayton Flyers' Obi Toppin made his NBA playoffs debut with the Knicks yesterday. The number 8 overall pick from last year's draft, scored 5 points on 2 of 3 shooting in just 12 minutes of play. That was about his average from a points perspective, from an efficiency perspective, and from a minutes perspective. He wasn't going to get any more than that. I still think he's better than Taj Gibson, but this really just goes back to, Taj Gibson will not be a Knick next year. All the minutes that Taj Gibson is getting with the Knicks, those minutes will be given to Obi next year, a year from now, so everyone can relax. I do believe, there's something there keeping Obi from getting consistent play, but I do believe it goes back to Thibodeau's, his familiarity with Taj Gibson going back to their Bulls days. Mm-hmm. That's all that is. Plus Taj Gibson, a veteran, experienced player. And players usually, you don't know how veteran players are going to react in those high leverage situations. I mean, Julius Randle was an MVP candidate. Well, he was in the conversation. Obviously, the 3 finalists have come out. Julius Randle took a step back yesterday. He was not very good in yesterday's game, but that's why coaches who are so terrified of rookies, there's a reason that they don't like to give rookies a lot of spotlight or a lot of opportunities because, hey, you might shine in regular season play, but we don't want to invest a lot of time into you in the regular season and then have to worry about you come playoff time, and then it throws the rotation all out of whack, which makes sense to go with the Taj Gibson rotation throughout the regular season because it wasn't about getting Taj Gibson ready for the playoffs. It was about getting the full roster ready for the playoffs. And what you can't do is have Obi Toppin play a full 72-game season and then hide him in the playoffs and put Taj Gibson in these moments that he hadn't played in all season. It really makes a lot of sense. Obi Toppin has not been punished all year. Thibodeau is not a bad coach. Thibodeau is not misusing Obi Toppin. I would rather Obi Toppin be used sparingly in these learning situations to have a breakout year next year than to have been thrown to the wolves, have his confidence shot, and just really be mentally destroyed after 1 year of play. I think that this year is actually the most beneficial thing for him. I think Obi's going to be a fine player moving forward. I don't know about an all-star. I don't know about a superstar. But Obi, the fact that he's even maximizing his 11, 12 minutes a game, that's all you could ask for. The dude's going to be fine. He's going to get more playing time next year. He's going to average 8 to 10 points a game next year, hopefully more. I still think it's going to be in that ballpark, which there's nothing wrong with that. If you're averaging 8 to 10 points a game, if you're averaging 15-plus minutes a game, you'll be fine. He's already at 10-plus minutes a game. He'll be fine. But it was cool seeing him get that big, not just on the floor, but to get that big dunk. And then because that's the one thing I couldn't wait for Obi was his flashy style of play, his highlight dunks. He's just an energizer bunny. He was the guy at UD. He's not the guy with the Knicks, but man, he's going to come off that bench. He won't be a starter for the Knicks next year. He's going to come off the bench. He's going to get them big old dunks. He's going to get if they're on they start out flat and they bring Obi in and he gets one of them dunks, he's going to be why all of a sudden the team takes off and goes on these big old runs, especially at home at the Garden. That was a cool game yesterday to watch him kind of get his feet wet a bit, comes in, gets a big dunk, 2 or 3 from the field. He had a 3-pointer in the dunk. That's all Thibodeau needed him to do. Of course, they come up short, but getting to watch him play. I think Brian Roberts was the last Flyer to get some time in the NBA playoffs. So that was like years ago. But that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool watching him do that.
Yeah, I watched a lot of that game as well. Something that I noticed about the Knicks, I mean, you brought up a great point with Taj Gibson and his familiarity with Coach Tibbs and everything like that. It's defense. It's knowing your defensive assignments. And rookies, big man rookies, just don't have that defensive assignment stuff down pat. And everybody, including myself, thought that the Knicks were going to be terrible. So if they're terrible, you play the young guys. But the Knicks weren't terrible. The Knicks got the 4th seed. So you're not about to be out here like, all right, I know we got the 4th seed, but it's time to play the rookie for more minutes in the playoffs. No, you got your rotation set. They play 8 guys. They play quickly off the bench. They play D Rose off the bench, and they play Toppin off the bench. And for some reason, Tibbs and all this great defensive guru Magic decided to put Frank Ntilikina on ice tray at the end of the game for some crazy unknown reason to anybody out there, and Trey hit the game winner. But to Obi, I think that offensively he can do a million things better than Taj Gibson. A million things. He can finish at the rim better than Taj Gibson. He can shoot better than Taj Gibson. Taj Gibson is on the court because of his defensive presence and knowing where to be on defense. And right now, Coach Tibbs believes that's the best for the team. But Obi's going to get his shot. He's going to get his shot. He's going to be ready because he's already, he's ready now, but like defensively, he's not there. And Tibbs is going with his guys, and there's no problem with that. I mean, Tibbs got them the 4th seed, so I'm cool with it. And we got to go have a great series. I think the Knicks are ultimately going to win in 7, but I think that Atlanta wins the close games, but the Knicks blow Atlanta out in those games that they win.
Yeah, look, the Knicks, when it comes to, and I see this a lot on Twitter, and this is the thing that frustrates me. We live in this world where basketball is your offensive stats, and that's it. Obi's so efficient. He averaged 4 or 5 points a game in 10 minutes. You give him 20 minutes, that's 10-plus points a game. You give him 30 minutes, that's 20 points a game. What else do you? We give him 40, you get 25 points a game. That's great, but that's not great for Coach Thibodeau. And by the way, I think he's going to be a better player long-term because of it, because Thibodeau is making, when you talk about, Obi think about what he could do offensively. They don't need the offense from Obi Toppin right now. They were getting all of their offense, collectively as a whole. They averaged over 105 points a game on the season. The Knicks were playing fine offensively. And at this, could they have improved offensively slightly? Yes, but Thibodeau was not going to allow them to improve offensively enough at the expense of their defense.
Right.
And that's what got them to the playoffs. And that's why the Knicks are going to lose in the playoffs, by the way, because if you play harder defensively than everyone else in the regular season, you're going to win a lot of games. The problem is when a team matches your defensive intensity, which will always happen in the playoffs, now it's going to come down to who are you offensively. And even Taj Gibson was afraid of the moment last night. Those were some ugly possessions for the Knicks down the stretch. In fact, what really frustrated me is that, like Derrick Rose, you saw him kind of yelling at guys down the stretch too. No one wanted the ball. Julius Randle didn't want the ball.
Oh, he wanted it. He just was breaking it. He was like, 6 of 26?
But he walked off to the corner. Taj Gibson was dribbling to the bucket. He just stopped, leaped in the air, and just flung it back. He didn't even know who the hell was behind him. They panicked. They got the ball to Derrick Rose. Now, by the way, it worked, but that wasn't it wasn't execution. It wasn't like any execution. It was so that's where Thibodeau, I think, kind of grinds you a bit.
Yes.
Because for one, he already, just by his rotations alone, it shows he doesn't trust young players to begin with. So it doesn't matter how efficient Obi is in his minimal amount of time anyways. So Taj Gibson was terrified to have the ball in his hand down the stretch. Quickly was afraid to have the ball in his hands down the stretch. These are all very good basketball players. By the way, you should not have Taj Gibson with the ball down the stretch in a game-tying situation. But it's like you could tell. For one, Taj Gibson, that shot he can hit. He was 5 feet from the bucket. Elevate, go up for a layup. He was terrified. He would rather risk turning it over to flip it out to Derrick Rose at the perimeter than to take a high percentage look. But that's the Thibodeau effect where it's like, yes, he's a good coach. I'm not saying he's not, but you could tell that he has those guys mentally beat up. They don't trust themselves, and they wanted the ball out of their hand. That's why they didn't go to Randall. They didn't go to they went to Derrick Rose, a bench player, a veteran, former MVP, who's not the old Derrick Rose. He's old Derrick Rose. Good for him, though, for hitting that shot because he was not afraid to take that shot. He dribbled in, got it, tied it up, and then Trae Young makes that, Reggie Miller historic shot that if Trae Young turns into the baller we think he's going to be, we're always going to look at his very first playoff game ever being a game-winning shot in the Garden, looking over at Spike Lee and the entire Garden saying, hey, everyone be quiet. I just silenced all of you. Woo. What a game that was. But, man,
great game.
Obi Toppin will be fine, but I love when fans on Twitter right away. Does Thibodeau, he hits a three and you take him out. How about you not pay attention to the three he just hit and talk about how he let a guy just blow right past him for an easy layup or the backdoor cut? There's so much more than just what he could do offensively. You need offense? There are plenty of guys who could score in the NBA. There's not plenty of guys who could play defense. And Obi, that was the weakness going into the draft. Everyone questioned whether he'd be able to play defense. And then people will find, Obi Toppin, see that was a nice contested shot right there. That's great. Why is he contesting a shot? Oh, yeah, because he let him blow past him and he had to, what? I'm not ripping Obi. The bottom line is that was the weakness he had heading into the draft. He'll be fine. It'll be fine. Would you rather, and by that's the thing too. Let's say Obi would have gone to the Bulls or another bad team. So Obi would average, 12, 13 points a game on a bad team. You wouldn't see him in the playoffs, and I don't know if he'd be getting better. All these guys can score. All of these guys can score. That's why every team in the NBA averages over 100 points per game. Finding scores is not the problem for these teams. The worst scoring team in the league is the Cavaliers at 103 points per game. They didn't have issues putting points up. They just couldn't keep everyone else from getting their 100-plus points a game. So that's why I just get mad when UD fans run away. He could score. Look, he's doing it in just 10 minutes. They all could score. Relax. He's not playing it in the A10 where his scoring stands out versus everybody else's. This is the NBA where everyone can do what he does. They can all score. They can all dunk. They all can't play defense. He can't play defense as of right now at that high of a level, and he'll get there. He's a rookie. I'm not expecting him to be an all-star in the first year, but I still think he has learned more from his 10 minutes a game versus what he would have learned in 20 to 30 minutes a game, just being mentally beat up. I think that and I love his attitude because if you hear every interview he does, I love Coach Tibbs. I love I love what we're doing. I love playing for him, all that. He's not discouraged. So why are you fans discouraged? Trust Obi in this situation. He's not frustrated. You shouldn't be frustrated. He's a team player. That's what made him so rare to begin with, is because usually the best player on the team has an ego. Obi's one of the few players I could remember watching in basketball where they didn't walk around acting like a badass. He just, when you talk to him, he just had this very genuine, friendly personality. And you're like, I was expecting more of a kind of a jerky, I'm Obi mentality. That's not him. And that's what's cool about him. That's what's going to make him a fan favorite moving forward. So relax. There's nothing bad to say about it, but people were just ripping Thibodeau yesterday all through the playoff game. I'm like, Thibodeau's being consistent. He's doing exactly what he did in the regular season.
Clear, man.
He could have got less minutes yesterday. He still got the same amount of minutes he got in the regular season, which also doesn't happen because benches shrink come playoff time.
Let's be clear, man. Rookies are terrible on defense in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Horrendous. If you watch any of the games that LaMelo played, he's a turnstile. Anthony Edwards in Minnesota, he's a turnstile. I mean, shoot. Trae Young, he's been in the league 3 years. He's still a turnstile. You know what I'm saying? Like, dudes like that age, they just don't have the defensive principles locked in. That they don't practice defense like that. They just don't that early in their career. You know why Trae Young can bomb threes from half court? Because that's what he's practicing. You know why he can yo-yo the ball like that? Because that's what he's practicing.
He's practicing his transition defense. Hey, if I shoot from here, I can get back quicker.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? They're not practicing that, man. I worry about that later. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get these buckets, and that's what young players do. And, you know, that's just what it is. And, you know, it's a learning process. We're not expecting Obi to turn into Dennis Rodman the day he turns into the NBA. Like, that's just not how it works. It's just a maturation process. And, you know, the Knicks got Obi in a good situation, got him coming off the bench, and he's learning a ton.
Absolutely. And again, you know, it's cool. The Knicks will be back in action tomorrow, but that was cool. There's been like sporadic fans at the Garden all year, at Madison Square Garden all year, and Obi's had a couple big dunks at the Garden. You hear the fans in the background, but when he slammed that yesterday, that little baseline drive, or it wasn't even baseline, it was just more through the paint or whatever. That was cool. Like, for the first time, I got goosebumps watching it because I'm like, we just watched this dude at UD Arena just a little over a year ago, and to hear that in the Garden, like when he was drafted, I'm like, dude, we're going to get to watch Obi at the Garden. How freaking cool is that? Like, that's how sweet that was. So then to see that for the first time, that was pretty cool. By the way, Willie Hayden says, salute, guys. So shout out to Willie. Appreciate you tuning in. Willie, again, hanging out with us on Facebook. Head to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show. Jump in the conversation that way. Willie, I hope you're doing well, man. Thanks for jumping in the conversation. So we've talked a lot of NBA today, probably more than we ever have. Ryan Strauss says defense isn't pretty, scoring is. That's why younger stars and even veterans nowadays put all their effort in offense. Defense doesn't get checks, scoring does.
Damn right.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ryan, the thing, you know, my favorite part about that Lakers-Suns game yesterday was like there was about 6+ minutes to go. LeBron was not guarding Devin Booker the whole time. LeBron went out and he was on Devin Booker starting around the 6-minute mark. And like even the announcers, they zeroed in on it too. LeBron's not doing that in the regular season. He's not going to guard. And that's not a shot at LeBron. That's every star in basketball. For one, that's just common sense. You go to high school, you're not going to take your best player and put him on your opposing team's best player. You want to put them on somebody that, you know, yes, you could take them out, but also not risk getting your guy in foul trouble or wear them out defensively to the word that they have nothing at the offensive end. But you're right. That's what makes, even when playoff basketball gets here, shortening the benches. But how crazy was that? We talked about in the first hour. Every team in the NBA averages over 100 points per game. Mm-hmm. Every team. The worst scoring team in basketball, the Cavaliers, average 103 points per game. That would be good enough to be the 10th highest scoring offense, just 10 years ago, by the way. And they have the worst scoring offense at 103. All the way back in 2000, only 4 teams averaged over 100 points per game. The worst team averaged 87. And the worst team now averages 103. The Cavaliers would have been title favorites. This Cavaliers team would have been a title favorite back in the day, right? Like it's just crazy. It was just fun watching NBA basketball with stars mixed with effort, mixed with defense. Like, that was cool yesterday. There is no answer to get that same thing in the regular season. There's just not right now. I don't know why. It's not like it was non-existent back in the 90s, but to be honest, back then in the 90s, to be fair, though, people thought the regular season, that people didn't care as much then either. Like, these conversations aren't new. It's just they've been expanded upon because now we're looking at numbers of teams averaging 120 points per game to where, even if you look at the scoring numbers in the 90s, we're talking about the year 2000, the 4 teams that averaged 100 plus points per game while all the other teams did not. No one in the playoffs in the year 2000 averaged over 100 points per game. So even those high-scoring teams, and by the way, that's why teams like the Sacramento Kings were the dangerous team because they scored 100-plus points a game, that you couldn't stop them. In the playoffs, the Lakers defensively, they locked in on them, and that's how they were always able to get past them and get to the finals. Like, that's what it always – even in the 90s, teams scored a lot of points for their time, and they scored less points in the playoffs. The Bulls averaged a ton of points. They averaged 98 points per game, which was high then. during those final stretches, the Bulls averaged 94 points per game. So teams actually did a better job defensively on Michael Jordan and the Bulls, but it still wasn't enough because their lesser than playoff performance was still better than everyone else's lesser than playoff performance. So I just don't think the game's changed that much. It's just we're dealing with a higher volume of scoring is all it really comes down to.
The only team to speed the Bulls up and make them play their pace in the finals was the Suns. That Suns team with Dan Marley and Charles Barkley and Kevin Johnson. It's just something about the Suns that I don't know what it is. When they have good teams, they are a high
them too. The Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah.
And that's what Jake Kidd, Richard
like
Jefferson.
Those teams like just score a ton of points. Like you talked about, like Kevin Johnson in that era with Barkley, and then the Jason Kidd era that was for a hot minute there, and then the Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire era, and now this era. Like it is something in the water in Phoenix where they score a ton of points, not only in the playoffs but in the regular season. So, how worried are you about the Lakers?
I'm worried about them just because I think health is a problem. But to be honest, I'm not going to overreact to a game one loss because they lost every game one in the playoffs last year, including the finals. So I'm not really worried. They didn't lose game one in the finals last year.
No,
did they? No,
they lost.
They lost game three, I believe, or either way. Point is, they lost every game one in the playoffs last year, and we're fine. We talked about like the Rockets with James Harden at that time. Everyone's like, oh man, we had a feeling that the Rockets were going to have enough firepower to go at that. The Lakers came back and we're fine. They go down 0-2. They're done. They're not beating this Suns team. We found this is a Suns team that every time I watch any NBA related show, even Stephen A and all that, they have every weapon you can imagine. They have good interior play. They have good defensive players on the outside. They have good shooters. They have a hell of a point guard. I've never been a Chris Paul guy. This is my favorite version of Chris Paul because for the first time I could see this Suns team is nothing without him and they're everything with them. There's a lot of players who make teams better, but they're not everything with them. Like I never thought that the Rockets were everything with James Harden and nothing without him. The Phoenix Suns are a championship contender with them, and they are nothing without him. The Rockets were just really good with James Harden. They were never I never viewed them as a true championship threat. I just didn't. So I'm a big Chris Paul fan for the first time in his career this year. And I love the fact that although he loves LeBron, he tried taking that shoulder and ripping it right out of its socket yesterday. I love that. LeBron in the post game, they asked, do you think he was dirty? He goes, I'm fine. I'll be ready for game 2. So he never answered it. I love LeBron, but shut the hell up. You're a crybaby. I love LeBron, but that stuff, I can't defend it. I'm a LeBron. I love LeBron. I will die on the hill of LeBron being the GOAT. But the second it gets brought up about his acting, I'm with you. It's not even good acting. It's acting, but it ain't good acting. It's Joey Tribbiani acting. I mean, it's poo. It ain't good. Like, I don't even get that, man. That was ridiculous yesterday.
So I do want to get back to the actual game, but I'll say this. I was talking to my buddy about it, man, when it happened, and he texted me with the rolling eyes emoji before I could even say
here he goes again.
But he's a LeBron. He loves LeBron too, but he's much like you. He's just like, look, man, this dude with this is just has to stop. So I asked him, I was like, I think that LeBron was so good at basketball so early on that all he's ever played was organized basketball. I just don't see him going to the park and playing pickup basketball with the guys and playing basketball with older people and him driving the lane and getting the crap filed out of him and him trying to say, that's me up top. I just don't see any of that in his basketball game because whenever he is breathed on, he falls all over the place. And then in the very next breath, when he gets the ball and he gets the advantage, it's an and one, too strong. Like, that's the type of stuff that turns people off about LeBron. Like, that's not even people. That's what turns me off about LeBron. Like, look, man, you're great. Nobody's denying that. But stop it. Stop with the acting. Stop with, I saw 3 rims. When he said that, I almost lost it.
Well, you're just jealous because you couldn't hit. You couldn't hit a shot if you saw 3 rims.
Oh, I could. I'm just as lucky as he is. No, I'm joking.
That wasn't luck. But he had time to set up and follow through. That ain't luck.
Like that was next level. And when he was on the ground, yesterday, man, I just was like, man, you got to be kidding me, man.
Do you find it odd that not one teammate went over to help him up, by the way? Not one. Everyone, in fact, more people wanted to go defend Alex Caruso getting his ass kicked than they cared about LeBron, because everyone had the same mindset. Oh, he's fine. There's a reason that nobody went to help LeBron out. They're like, oh, this motherfucker's fine. He just get your ass up. He's come on, LeBron, come on, let's go. We good.
Like, I just don't get it. But to the game and being worried about the Lakers, I'm not worried about the Lakers. Anthony Davis knows that DeAndre Ayton gave him the business yesterday. He knows that. We all saw it, but more importantly, Anthony Davis saw that he got the business yesterday. So
he looked like he was afraid to go in the paint.
And that's what I was saying about
he looked afraid to get. He looked afraid. Like, I think he's afraid to get hurt. And I do believe you're going to see Anthony Davis play more like this. He got his ring. Are we going to see cutthroat AD anymore? I mean, AD his career can end today. He has his ring. He's fine, right? Like in the Lakers, you gave up the farm to get him. You did it to win the championship, or did you do it to win more? Because you got one. Did you? I mean, yes, they of course always want more, but in AD, like every time he'd catch it, he would do this little weird. I mean, not weird. That's his shot, but like that's part of his arsenal. That is the only thing he would go to is that weird fadeaway shot. And he
that's
had no
what I was saying about the game against Golden State. I was like, yo, he's got to chill with the fadeaways, bro. I know. Everybody heard the story. Man, I was a guard. I was a point guard, and then I just grew 7 inches over the summer, and then I turned into a big man.
Got to shave my eyebrows.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, that's cool. But guess what? You're not 6 feet
You
anymore.
didn't think the eyebrow joke was funny? I thought I'd get a lazy chuckle.
You're 7 feet.
Jerk.
Act like it. Act like it, dude. Yes, I know it's the era of positionless basketball, and you can hit threes, you can hit jumpers, but dominate in the paint. If the Lakers want to go anywhere, if they want to make it back to the finals, it rides on Anthony Davis playing Anthony Davis basketball. And that basketball is him dominating in the paint, dominating on defense. And for goodness gracious sake, bro, you have to rebound the ball, man. Come on, man. Come on. Dude, I rebounded him 16-7. That's 7 rebounds. So you played 40 minutes.
What happened yesterday too, and this is why I didn't care about. I mean, I cared about it, but I'm not worried because I'll be worried after tomorrow night's game if they come out with the same skittish attitude. Like, look for them to come out locked and ready. I think they're going to win by double digits tomorrow night. If they come out ready, like that's why if they don't come out with that mentality, they're not winning a championship. Because here's why. I feel like the approach to yesterday's game was. It just didn't mean as much to them as it did to the Suns. What I mean by that is like LeBron, like even the announcers were shocked that they were taking LeBron out as much as they did. He was coming out of like the Lakers were going on big runs and they would stop their own run to take LeBron out and rest him. Like he wasn't playing in big chunks of the first half. He had 10 points early. Like LeBron was carrying him and then they took him out. He sat for 6 straight minutes. I don't know if you realize it. He sat for 6 straight minutes. And during that time, the Suns were making big runs and they weren't going to him. AD wasn't playing with urgency. So they weren't coaching with urgency. They weren't playing with urgency. And then by the time they did flip that switch late, still the Suns, man, they just were making too many big plays. The crowd is what is the X factor with some of these middle of the line teams. Like Phoenix is the 1 seed for a reason, but at the same time, like the crowd uplifted them yesterday. The Lakers got away with that stuff in the bubble. Those teams like the Heat didn't have fans to elevate them.
Right.
All right. Houston didn't have fans. I don't know if the Lakers win the title last year if Houston has home fans. If, you know what I'm saying? Like if Miami had home fans, they're going to beat Miami. But like, I don't know if they get through Houston last year if Houston has fans because Houston's that streaky 3-point shooting team. And I thought that, Booker and the Lakers, they have to hit threes. They couldn't hit threes yesterday to save their life. Yes, AD has to play better, but who's their 3 guy? Like they don't have Green anymore. They don't have any of these guys that can hit that you can count on for a 3. And that's the problem. That's why LeBron's jacking up so many of those. He can hit them, but that shouldn't be who you count on to get a big 3 every time down the floor. So
should LeBron have been suspended for violating the COVID protocol?
No. And I'm so glad you brought that up.
You're welcome.
First of all,
I set you up.
Yeah. And I hate when people get on their little moral high horse. Like, you all work with people, like you all have people you work with that they're so good at their job that they get away more with than the average employee or the bad employee at your office. If you grew up in sports at all, your 5th grade soccer team, the most athletic 5th grader on your soccer team, he got double snacks after the game than you did. Why? Because you suck. Okay, because you're no good. All right.
That's the Capri Sun.
Yeah, no. The best kid on the 5th grade soccer team, he had 2 goals that game. He's getting 2 Capri Suns, 2 turkey sandwiches, and he might get little Cheez-It packs, whatever. Like that has been like that since the beginning of time. All right. If you are the best at what you do, of course, the NBA would be stupid to do it. And everyone's calling them hypocrites. So you are telling me, basketball fans, that you really didn't want LeBron to play?
Oh, it's hypocritical.
It's beyond hypocritical. I get it. But it's not a new concept, Kev. It's not different. It's not new.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you.
Like, I get away with everything in this building because I'm the best. Everyone else would get in trouble. Not Kenner. Our bosses let me get away with everything because I'm Kenner. Right? No, I'm just joking. I'm the first one they yell at.
It's as simple as this. The NBA saw those ratings for Golden State and the Lakers on Tuesday night, and the violation came down, and they just said, what? What violation? We need these ratings.
I didn't see anything. Yo. I don't see anything.
You see the ratings that this dude just did? He moves the needle. Mm-hmm. People are watching because they're LeBron fans. People are watching because they're LeBron haters, but it don't matter as long as they're watching. And there ain't no way the NBA was going to take the 3:30 game off on a Sunday. Are you crazy? Man, hey, COVID or no COVID, he playing. Even if he tests positive, guess what, LeBron? You're playing. Huh? Yeah, you got to play. Sorry. Everybody mask up on the court. Tip-offs at 3:30. Play ball. Like, it wasn't no way. And, we can joke and everything about it, but, like, that's just how it is, man. Unfortunately, that's the way it's going to go. And I was with it because, I was highly entertained. Great game.
Now, I can't tell because I am one of those people that when it's my favorite player, favorite team, I ignore hypocrisy. But when it's an athlete I can't stand or a team I can't stand, like, by the way, if this was like the NFL and like the Steelers, Browns, and Big Ben had broke protocol and they let him play anyways, you bet your ass I'd be complaining, talking about the hypocrisy and all that. But you know what? That's not what but no, in all seriousness, the circumstances, look, the NBA, they're opening up arenas all over the place now. Like, we're on the verge of, at least here in the state of Ohio, right? Like next month or whatever, everything opening back. I don't know what every state by state thing is right now, but I just think that we're closer to the end of the handling of this, not the end of it, because it's still here, but we're closer to the end of the handling of all this. I just think that the circumstances didn't warrant them needing to cut down. Now, someone just asked, where did it go? Willie, where did it go? Was anyone else suspended for violating COVID-19 protocols? Well, actually, Dennis Schroeder, he just missed the last 2 weeks. He is just now coming back and trying to get his legs back underneath him because he wasn't even allowed at the team facilities for the last 2 weeks because he was going through COVID protocols, the same protocols that LeBron should have had to have gone through, to be able to play again. So I'm acknowledging, yes, it is big time hypocrisy of the NBA. Anyone else out there frustrated about that? Did the NBA look? You don't.
They pulled Kevin Durant in the middle of a game. Yep. I know you just scored 10 points, but you gotta get out.
Yeah, Schroeder. That's what Schroeder. KD was out for 14 days for a false positive.
They pulled him in the middle of a game, yo.
And by the way, Kwame Brown, someone get this dude a podcast because he just ripped LeBron and he ripped the NBA's handling of that. He talked about Lou Williams and the lemon pepper chicken wings.
What up, Lou?
How and how what he got. Lou Williams. For one, that's what got him. His teammates in LA, they didn't like that at all. So Willie, I can't read that on the air. That I can't read that. I want to. It's pretty funny, not gonna lie. So there's that. But and Karis LeVert was just out of the play-in game for it as well. So there are other players, but again, those players, you're only relevant. You're only as relevant as the best player of the league.
Maybe.
Right? Like, am I wrong? Like, you're only as relevant as the best player in the league. And I'm sorry, but and it's not just the most talented, it's the best player, like the face of you are only as good as the face of your league. MJ would have got it. Yeah. Kobe would have got it. MJ would have got it. Like, not every star would have got it, but there are certain superstars in the history of the league that would have got this kind of treatment. LeBron, Kobe, Shaq, right? Do you think Shaq? Yeah, Shaq. And obviously Michael. Like, those, there's no doubt about it. Magic, Larry, it doesn't matter. So we'll step away for a few moments. It's the Justin Kidder Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers. But yes, the NBA just totally blowing off LeBron violating COVID protocols and just letting him play anyways. And by the way, not even releasing a statement. They don't even release a statement because there's not there's not a PR team out there that can come up with the BS paragraph that would make enough sense to try to warrant them just ignoring it. So they're just like, well, we ignored it, so we're going to ignore it to the fullest extent by not even releasing a statement, and eventually it'll go away.
Spectacular. Maybe Bron got the vax. Maybe he got the vax.
Maybe not. Maybe he did. Maybe not. All right, we'll be back in a moment. Don't go anywhere. More of the Justin Kidder Show with Kev Nash next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy, a high near 88. Tonight's going to be partly cloudy, a low near 65. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy, a high near 90. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo? It's hablo.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real life situations.
The app is so easy to use and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. That's babbel.com, BABBEL.com.
Hey, my name is Jonelle, and a little thing that I love about Chick-fil-A's new Lemon Kale Caesar salad is every tender, warm, juicy piece of grilled chicken. It's a Caesar salad, but it's different. You have the Parmesan breadcrumbs and the mixture of lemon with that romaine and kale. It's almost something I can't explain, but it'll make you want to sing. Lemon Kale Caesar.
Order the new Lemon Kale Caesar salad on the Chick-fil-A app today. Available for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
It's grilling season, and you got the best beef brisket money can buy. Dry rubbed to perfection, slow smoked for 8 hours, and you dared to face that perfect smoky hickory wood flavor with subpar wood cooking pellets? Introducing Kingsford 100% hardwood pellets. No fillers or binders, just 100% hardwood for 100% flavor. Learn more at kingsford.com.
All right, is that a Q2 or Q3 expense?
Dwayne's CPA went MIA.
No.
To keep his books and his sanity, he needs to find a replacement ASAP.
Hey, Johnny, have you ever heard of a fungible good?
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You think buckling up is a personal choice? That it doesn't hurt anyone else? You would be wrong. Your choice could shatter the lives of your family, friends, and everyone you know. That's why we enforce seatbelt laws, to save lives. Think about that every time you drive. Buckling up isn't just a good idea, it's a choice between surviving a crash or not. Make sure you and everyone in the vehicle buckles up every time. Click it or ticket. Paid for by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
The Cup Cadet Pro Series commercial lineup means business. And now it means up to 48 months, no interest with equal payment financing on the entire lineup, including the superior maneuverability of the new 36-inch Pro X stand-on mower and the heavy-duty 972 SDL with a self-leveling seat to tackle slopes up to 25 degrees. Visit East Lawn and Garden, 1632 East Route 36 in Urbana. There's a promotional fee of $125 for this transaction. Call 1-877-831-7070 for details. Restrictions apply. Subject to credit approval. Standard APR 29.99%.
Because it's my vision, I take the most studied eye vitamin brand.
Because it's my vision, I take the eye vitamin brand backed by 20 years of research.
Because it's my vision, I take PreserVision.
Age-related macular degeneration is the leading cause of vision loss in adults over 60. That's why the National Eye Institute did 20 years of clinical studies on the formula that's found in PreserVision. From the eye experts at Bausch & Lomb, PreserVision AREDS 2 formula eye vitamins contain the exact nutrient formula recommended by the National Eye Institute to help reduce the risk of moderate to advanced AMD progression.
Because it's my vision, I made a plan with my doctor that includes PreserVision. Find PreserVision in the vitamin aisle. Available at Walmart.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Rob's Beer Barn knows summer is almost here, and that means it's time for graduation, anniversary, and all your outdoor parties. You can find all the ice-cold refreshments you'll need at Rob's. Craft, imported, local, and seasonal beers, fine wines, snacks, and ice. Rob's Beer Barn has it all, and for last-minute items you can call, walk in, or drive through. Stop in and visit Rob's and stock up today. Rob's Beer Barn, Indian Ripple Road at Darst, just a mile east of the green. Rob's Beer Barn, just look for the beaver.
It's all about the nose. It's your air filter, the first line of defense against bacteria and viruses. If too many germs get stuck in your nose, guess what? You get sick. That's why it's so important to keep your nose clean, just like washing your hands. Nasal irrigation gets rid of germs by rinsing the nasal cavity, but neti pots are hard to use and, frankly, kind of gross. Now there's a better way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself. It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. Millions use Navage for fast, all-natural relief from sinus congestion and allergies, and to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage is easy to use, affordable, and comes with an absolute guarantee of satisfaction. You wash your hands and brush your teeth every day. Now it's time to start cleaning your nose with Navage. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Want to see your loan options, adjust payments, and closing costs online in real time? Rocket can. When you need certainty in the home buying process with a loan that fits your life, Rocket can. Rocket Mortgage.
The Reds are on the radio. Every hit, every strikeout, every Reds victory. You can catch all of the action all season long right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, we are back. I'm Justin Kinner, hanging out with Kev Nash on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. The show brought to you by Kirkland and Sommers and Orion Sports Medicine. Head to YouTube, search ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel, and like and subscribe. And that way you can hang out with us and watch the show weekdays from 3 to 6. Be involved in the conversation. Leave your comments on the show and the topic at hand in the comment section, and we'll pull your comment into the show and interact with you that way. Same thing on Facebook. Head to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show. That's where you can like and subscribe to the show page there. There'll be content posted throughout the day to keep you entertained until up to showtime at 3 o'clock. And then, of course, the show's from 3 to 6, but we try to interact with you guys all day long, even after the show, and have some fun with you that way. So take advantage of that. The Justin Kinner Show on Facebook, ESPN Dayton on YouTube. Jump in the conversation and let's have fun weekdays from 3 to 6. We are an hour and 40 minutes into the show, and it's been an hour and 40 minutes of NBA talk. And, that's probably the most NBA talk in one big, long stretch of time that we've had. But we'll move on from it here shortly, because I do want to get into the little bit of some golf talk around the corner. Phil Mickelson, of course, captured his 6th major. And to me, I think it's being a little overhyped on one component. Phil Mickelson winning a major is ginormous. It's huge. It's big news. It was a hell of a visual watching the crowd follow him and everything. It was so cool. But there's one particular angle of this story that I think is being overhyped, and we'll talk about that coming up 20 minutes from now, top of the hour, 5 o'clock. Also coming up in hour number 3, reports heating up that the Falcons, ready and eager to move on from Julio Jones. Well, an interesting interview. Actually, it wasn't an interview, or it might have been an interview. It was an interview that one person was having that I'm not sure if the other party realized they were having. Shannon Sharp on Undisputed on Fox Sports called Julio Jones in the middle of their show Undisputed today, and basically just called him straight up and said, who do you want to play for? And he said his time in with the Falcons, they're done, that he's done, that they're no more, that they will not be together anymore. He will be heading to a new team at some point. And we'll talk about that coming up in hour number 3. Some of the teams being rumored for Julio Jones include the Titans, the Patriots, the Chargers, Justin Herbert and Julio Jones. That'd be dirty. I mean, he already, Keenan Allen and Julio Jones, Justin Herbert would have a lot of weapons at that point. The Ravens. And the Cleveland Browns, which I'm not a big fan of. but it's interesting that their name got brought up today as a possible suitor. And look, the one thing that all of these teams have in common between the Titans, Chargers, Patriots, Ravens, Browns, and more is, and the Rams are brought up, but the Rams don't make sense from a standpoint of, availability and funds. He's a little bit of a pricey player, and the Rams don't have a lot of they don't have a lot of money, payroll. They've spent all their money, so I don't know how that would work. But we'll talk about that coming up here in hour number 3. Last point on this too, but just because we're getting more on the NBA, David Shaw chimes in and says that the Lakers are not winning the championship, Kevin. He says they aren't winning tomorrow night. AD is soft, LeBron is soft, and the team has been injured to be, they've been too injured to be a cohesive unit. Just don't see it. There's a lot wrong with all of that. You guys are getting LeBron's theatrics mistaken for softness. That could not be further from the truth. Right, Kev? You may disagree, but you cannot sit here. He is the most physically imposing superstar in the NBA. He literally takes hits the entire game. The theatrics are annoying. I will never defend the theatrics, but don't fall for the theatrics. Don't fall for that as a sign of weakness. It is annoying. I don't really understand it completely. I can't defend it, and I won't defend it. But his overreaction to the finger to the eye against the Warriors the other night, the overreaction to the hip toss yesterday from Chris Paul, I'm not defending that. But you act as if that's all game long. Like LeBron is a physically imposing, dominant player. You don't get to where he is. You don't play a professional sport, even if you think the NBA is soft today. You don't get this far into your career at this level, this long, without being a tough player. So that's a false narrative out there. LeBron is tough. LeBron, give me a break. I can never buy into that. There's no way. Anthony Davis being soft is more, I think, of a precautionary thing. His approach to the game since coming back from injury. We were talking during the break. It's almost as if, Kev, that Anthony Davis's approach to the game, it's like, and I looked at it like this. I know they play two bigs a lot at the same time, but the way I viewed the game this past yesterday, was that they put Andre Drummond down on the post. Andre Drummond was doing all the grunt work. He was doing all the rebounding. He was doing all the offensive rebounding. He was trying to get all the offensive putbacks. The problem is he kept missing them and had to go to the free throw line. It was like watching Shaq, and it was like watching a poor version of Shaq all over again. It was unbelievable. But it was like AD was like, you know what? I'm just going to do my thing out here, and I don't need to rebound because Drummond's taking care of all that down there. That's the vibe I got. I don't know if the injury for him is more if he's still banged up and he's not as healthy as what they have been, as far as what they've put out there publicly. That's what I find interesting. If tomorrow is the same thing where Drummond's hanging out down low and he's living out in the perimeter and fade away, mid-range free throw extended jumpers, then I'm going to be concerned. But trust me, toughness is not an issue for LeBron. That's a lazy narrative. It's a way to tear LeBron's greatness down so that everyone can elevate the other guy that everyone always compares him to, right? Like, that's not saying Kev does that. I'm just saying, but that's an easy go-to. Stop it. Like, you don't average the amount of points he does, the amount of minutes he does. You don't play this far into your career if you're not tough. That's a lazy narrative, and I ain't going to put up with that one. Now, you could say whatever you want, the acting thing, the dramatic thing. Being dramatic in the theatrics does not equal not being tough. It just means you're annoying. So
that. LeBron not soft. He's not soft. The flailing, the acting, the crybaby stuff, yes, it's super annoying. But they won a championship last year with AD playing like this, with AD having peaks and valleys to his game. There were several games where he only had single-digit rebounds. And a lot of those games, they end up losing because he wasn't assertive. And that's a problem with Anthony Davis dating back to his days at Kentucky. That was something that Calipari had to tell him to do, be assertive on offense, be aggressive. We understand that you played guard most of your life and you like shooting jumpers, but you're not a guard anymore. You're 7 feet tall. Dominate in the paint like you're supposed to, dominate on defense like you're supposed to. Anthony Davis has peaks and valleys of his game, and it's all predicated around him, his offense. Like when his offense is working, those fadeaways and those threes are great when they're dropping, but when they're not, you can't just continue to do them. You have to have a counter to that. You have to be able to switch up your game and dominate in the paint. So basically, all the LeBron lovers and Laker lovers are betting on, like, look, okay, it's 1-0 Suns, right? But they're betting on in the next 6 games that you'll get a better Anthony Davis performance. Because if you get a real Anthony Davis performance, everything else will fall into place. Teams live and die by the three. Well, you don't get a lot of open threes if your big man is jacking those threes up. If you get the right people shooting those threes, if you get Caruso and KCP shooting from the wings, those are better shots than AD shooting them. As good as a shot maker as AD is, he has to dominate from the paint. And when he dominates in the paint, that also helps LeBron out, because that means LeBron doesn't have to do so much scoring. That means LeBron can do what he does best, facilitate. So it's all on Anthony Davis to me. Like, I think LeBron's going to just do what LeBron does. But Anthony Davis is the reason they will or won't win a championship.
Yeah, and let's be clear. Anthony Davis averages 24 points, 10 rebounds. Those are his career numbers this season right now. Before the injury, was averaging 26 and a half a game. He was averaging 13 rebounds a game. He was averaging 26 and a half and 13 rebounds a game before the injury. Since coming back, he's averaging 21 and 8. Okay, that's his averages since coming back from the injury right now. So, look, is he playing? I think soft is the wrong word to use. He's playing almost like hesitant, and I think that there's no room for that. Now, there's a pattern and history of that. Mm-hmm. You are completely right. But I think some of that hesitancy comes from the pattern of his injuries at the same time. Like, I think that even there...
Now, that's the biggest problem.
I think that there's always been that thing in the back of his head of, oh, man, like, I think he's always worried that his next step is going to be an injury. Because he's had, if you go, like, even his time in the Pelicans, like, there were some injuries he had that some of them were just very weird, awkward planting to the bucket, a strong, a hop step towards the bucket, simple, fundamental, typical, everyday basketball moves that weren't out of the ordinary, that his ankle just turned or that he tore something in his knee or whatever. Jeffrey Gluck on Facebook says David Shaw is correct about AD. The guy is a wuss. Of course, there's a different letter in there. How could you guys? I don't understand.
Must not be a Wildcats fan.
The guy is a wuss. The guy averages, I mean, what? I just don't get it. When he is healthy, he's one of the most imposing defensive bigs in the game. He's he's the most dominating big in the game when you look at what he could do at both ends of the floor. Who's a better big than him, Kev? Right now, for this season, I like what Joel Embiid has turned into this season under Doc Rivers, best shape he's been in. But this season, this is the best we've seen Joel Embiid this season in his career. Mm-hmm. But Anthony Davis, he's the best big in the game. Who's a better big than him in the game right now as far as total package from scoring, down low, perimeter, defensively? He blocked a 3-point shot last night from the free throw line. Like, he literally just leaped from the free throw line and blocked a 3-point shot yesterday. And look, one game yesterday. He has a back-to-back bad games, and the Lakers go down 0-2. That's when we can have that conversation. But stop. By the way, there's a reason you play 7-game series, and the reason that the best team always wins 7-game series is because you're going to have off nights. If this was March Madness, we'd be talking about one of the biggest upsets in the NBA playoffs right now. But there's a reason there's 7-game series. The Lakers lost a lot of game 1 matchups last year, and they won an NBA championship. The Lakers are winning the championship as long as they stay healthy. LeBron will be fine. AD will be fine. KD is a better big man. Now, Jeff, stop.
I would say Anthony Davis is still the best big man in the league, and what separates him between Embiid and the Joker has that point guard style in him, and he can finish around the basket without jumping and all that type of stuff, but he's not the defender that Anthony Davis is. Embiid, as big as he is, as strong as he is, as big of a horse in the paint as he is, he can hit outside jumper as well. He's not the defensive player that Anthony Davis is. Even when Anthony Davis is having a bad offensive performance like he did yesterday, he's still an impact player on defense, not just defending his man, but guarding the pick and roll. And in today's NBA, the pick and roll is the most used offense. So Anthony Davis's ability to cover point guards, not just for like 2 seconds and, scramble back and get back to his man, but to play them for an entire possession. That's what makes Anthony Davis so unique, is he's able to guard those guys. It's kind of like he has the skill set offensively of a Tim Duncan, but the defensive athleticism of a Kevin Garnett. It's like that, but he doesn't bring that intensity every single night. Like, if he had Kevin Garnett's intensity, he'd be the best basketball player ever, but he just don't.
Yeah, and that's really what it comes down to at this point. And by the way, keep in mind, the Lakers, since Anthony Davis arrived, they're the best defensive team in baskball. One player's presence allowed them to be the best team defensively in basketball. So that's him. You want to talk about Jokic, you want to talk about Kevin Durant, Anthony, from a scoring perspective, from being able to count on them offensively standpoint, fine, maybe they're better scorers. But I'm not going to take any of those. Well, again, Kevin Durant's not a big. I don't care. I know he's big, but he's not. He doesn't play. He ain't
big, man. He's tall,
positionless basketball. And all that stuff. But hey, I'm just not going there. Anthony Davis is legit. They won a title last year. I mean, what are we talking about here? Like, I get it. It's LeBron. It's the Lakers. Two of the most hated brands in the history of the NBA have collided, and they've joined forces, and that's what makes him an easy target. But I feel like the people that are chiming in on Anthony Davis and LeBron and the Lakers, have you watched one game all season? Or did you just watch the Sports Center highlights? Did you watch a couple clips on Twitter? Did you hear about your friends complaining about how LeBron and the NBA is soft? Did you watch the game? Watch the game, watch LeBron, watch Anthony Davis. And I don't mean, like, I know I said one game, but like, you got to understand the context of everything. Kev is all about context. Anthony Davis, you're going to watch him have one bad game yesterday. This is a guy that averaged, since coming to LA, averaged 26 points and 13 rebounds in his time with the Lakers. They've won an NBA championship. And they were in the position to be the 1 seed this year until the injuries tore him apart and LeBron apart. Now they're back off. Bad day yesterday. I'm not hitting the panic button. I'm sticking with the Lakers. They're winning this championship. They're the best overall team in basketball, not just because of what they have offensively, but because of what they have defensively. And every team that everyone keeps talking about out there, like the Nets, you don't love them defense, you love them offensive. Every team out there everyone loves from an offensive standpoint. I'll take the team that has just as much firepower offensively and defensively. I'll take that all day, every day. Hour 3 coming up next. Michael Green says, he is going to be the MVP, talking about Jokic. That's fine. There's lots of MVPs. Antetokounmpo has been an MVP. Steve Nash was a 2-time MVP. MVPs happen every season. They have to give out an MVP, but LeBron's still the best player in the game. He's the most important player in the game. MVP, congratulations, Jokic. You've had the best season. And then what's going to happen? Jokic will win it next year. And then whenever his team continues to not win an NBA championship, we'll get bored with them and we'll give the MVP to someone else, just like what we're doing with Antetokounmpo. Antetokounmpo's numbers are better this year than the last 2 years of which he won the MVP, and he's not even going to win an MVP this year. We get bored. It's just a popularity contest when it comes down to this. I don't want to hear about Jokic. He's a cool story. It's great. We'll lead your team to a championship, and then you could sit at the adult table. Until then, enjoy the popularity award. Hour 3 next.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Got a project to do? Use the right equipment and rents from Arts Rental Equipment. With over 50 years experience, Arts has the best selection, delivery, and service, plus 15 Arts locations. Work smart. Rents from Arts.
I can't take this anymore.
I have nowhere to go. I lost my job.
I feel alone.
The Crisis Text Line is here to help day or night. Text 4HOPE to 741-741 for free and confidential support. Text with a trained volunteer to move from that hot moment to a cool calm.
Hoffman Turf wants to enhance your property. Hoffman Turf, a locally owned company in Beaver Creek, offers professional lawn care, landscape maintenance, and weed and pest control. We understand your lawn is your investment and strive to give you the most value for your hard-earned money. Let us help you achieve a beautiful, thick, green lawn. Sign up today for fertilization and weed control and save 50% off the first application and 5% off the entire season when you prepay. Schedule today online at hoffmanturf.com. Hoffman Turf, professional, dependable, affordable. Josh, very excited to learn that you're bringing the success of the Cable Academy to the Dayton market at the newly renovated hub. Can you tell me more?
Absolutely. Cable Academy is a full-time 12-week or part-time 24-week program that allows students to learn tech support, cybersecurity, or web development. Students can take the course both live or virtual, and all students are assigned to a professional job assistance coach.
Can students be ready in 12 weeks?
Yes, this is 600 hours of rigorous learning that allows students that don't have 2 or 4 years to learn, but have a passion for IT.
What about financing?
Well, we work with every student on options from grants, workforce development dollars to scholarships. Even better, 80% of our students qualify for our no job, no pay program. You don't get a job, you don't pay. This allows everyone to be aligned.
All right. How can people learn more or sign up?
It's very simple. Next classes start June 28th. Go to cableacademy.com. That's cable with a K. Click apply, and an admissions coach will reach out to answer all your questions. That's cableacademy.com. Cable Academy. Changing lives, one student at a time.
Cable Academy is coming to the hub. Classes start June 28th.
There's been a lot of talk about the chicken sandwich wars lately, but only Lee's Chicken Sandwich is made famous. At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, homestyle happens here with our chicken sandwich combo for only $5.99. You'll get a fresh, never frozen chicken breast in your choice of famous recipe or spicy, topped with chipotle ranch and pickles on a brioche bun, all served with a regular side and drink. Get a taste of fame with our chicken sandwich combo for only $5.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
You're still running your business on QuickBooks? QuickBooks? More like quicksand. The bigger your company grows, the faster you sync with outdated software that just can't keep up. You don't have time to spend dealing with manual processes, multiple systems, delays, and scrambling to get the numbers you need. It's time to get on solid ground. NetSuite by Oracle, the scalable solution to run all of your key back office operations, no matter how big your company grows. NetSuite gives you visibility and control over your financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more. Everything you need to grow all in one place. NetSuite helps you automate your key business processes and close your books in a fraction of the time. Think days, not weeks. In fact, 93% of surveyed organizations increased their visibility and control of their business since making the switch from QuickBooks to NetSuite. Right now, NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind financing program only for those ready to graduate from QuickBooks. Head to netsuite.com/radar. That's special financing for you graduates at netsuite.com/radar.
The trained soldiers of the Army National Guard are a new generation of leaders called to proudly and selflessly serve our nation and make a difference in the communities we call home. Do you want to make a difference? During our Hiring Days event, May 10th to June 14th, we're looking for highly motivated candidates for part-time careers in the Army National Guard. You'll experience the personal fulfillment of serving your community right in your home state during emergencies and natural disasters, while learning skills valued in civilian careers like leadership, problem solving, and strategic thinking. And when you serve in the Guard part-time, you can work or attend college full-time while you earn a paycheck, gain career skills, and enjoy great benefits like low-cost health coverage for you and your family. Learn more about serving part-time in the Army National Guard by visiting nationalguard.com/hiring days today.
Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard, aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
This is Keith Byers, and I played in the National Football League for 13 years. As a proud Daytonian, I've got an important message for you guys out there, especially you gentlemen over 40 years old. Know your stats. As a professional athlete, I focused on my numbers every day. Now I focus on my most important stats: blood pressure, sugar, cholesterol, and PSA levels. In the end, those are the numbers that really count. So if you don't know your numbers, now is the time to find out. See your doctor regularly to stay on top of your game, because no matter your age, every day and every number counts.
This message is brought to you by Molina Healthcare and Community Health Centers of Greater Dayton. If you do not have a primary health provider, call Community Health Centers of Greater Dayton at 937-461-6869 or visit communityhealthdayton.org.
Need a U.S. passport? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Visit one of our convenient auto title locations in Huber Heights, Clayton, Downtown, Moraine, and Centerville. Make us your first destination before you travel abroad. No appointments ever needed. We do passports.com for more info.
Contractors, use the right equipment for your project and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. No storage, no maintenance, no hassle. 15 Arts locations and online at artsrental.com. Work smart. Rents from Arts.
In a world full of things you never thought possible, here's one more. Now you can get high-quality auto insurance from Allstate at a new low rate. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
O'Reilly.
This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus, home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well, medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Hi, my name is Brian Sommers, and I'm an attorney with Kirkland and Sommers. We are a law firm dedicated to divorce and family law. We have 2 locations serving Miami Valley, one near Austin Landing and the other in Troy. Remember, we're not part-time divorce and family lawyers. We're full-time here for you.
Kirkland and Sommers, trusted and experienced, a family law practice dedicated to serving you. Visit them online at kirklandandsummers.com. That's Summers with an O, kirklandandsummers.com.
Call It Propane is proud to serve the greater Miami Valley. Find out why 98% of our customers would recommend us to friends and family. If you want to change your propane supplier, spring or summer is the right time to make that change. Find us online at callitpropane.com or visit us in Xenia, Wilmington, or Lebanon. Call It Propane, proudly keeping the Miami Valley warm for over 65 years.
Germain Honda Beaver Creek is your local Honda dealer, and now is a great time to buy. For a limited time, Honda has extended 0% financing on the 2021 Honda Passport, Honda HR-V, Honda Pilot, and the 2021 Honda Odyssey for well-qualified buyers. See me, Sales Manager Jason High, for the complete details. We are located at Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way.
Many Vietnam War veterans were unknowingly exposed to dangerous chemicals impacting their health and quality of life. There are now expanded benefits for veterans exposed to Agent Orange. Veterans with Parkinsonism, bladder cancer, or hypothyroidism who previously applied for VA disability compensation but were denied should reapply and might be eligible for retroactive compensation. Exposed veterans who have not yet applied should consider filing a new claim. For assistance, call Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
You may have heard that Allstate has new low auto rates, but isn't it time to see for yourself? Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com. WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's live, it's local, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers.
All right, hour 3. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We are off and rolling. Hope you had a great day at work. And, well, from our angle, we look out this window. Looks like clouds are starting to gather. By the way, it looks like it's snowing outside. I have no clue what is gathering all outside our door and parking lot. But if you have allergies, it's a bad day to come here. So there you go. How you do? I mean,
hand raised. Hand raised.
You do it too bad. You've got
I'm
2
good.
hours.
I'm good right now. I'm good right now.
2 hours. Over the weekend, it was a great sporting weekend. I thought about that yesterday. I'm like, man, I've been glued to my phone and TV all weekend, basically, with so much going on in sports, especially when you NBA playoffs off and rolling for so many people that do nothing but say, oh, the NBA is crap and garbage. No one watches it. That was the talk of the weekend. That dominated sports headlines all weekend, as well as Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson captured his 6th major, and by far probably the most surprising on Sunday at the PGA Championship. He became the oldest player to win in 161 years of major championship golf at 50 years old. Mickelson became the 10th player to win majors in 3 decades. By the way, an elite list that starts with Harry Vardon and was most recently achieved by Tiger Woods when he won the Masters just a few years ago. Of course, lots happened since then, by the way. Holy smokes. But I will say this. There was a lot of reasons. If you had a list of all the reasons why what Phil Mickelson did over the weekend was so impressive, it's a list a mile long. You know what's not on that list for me? His age. I think the most overrated part of this entire championship celebration for him is his age. I have so many former teachers, coaches, family members who all are retired, and every day they post that they're golfing. I have never met anyone that says, man, I can't wait to retire to get out on that football field. Man, I can't wait to retire to get to noon ball at the Y to play basketball every single. No, you retire so you can golf. That's what people strive to do. Golf is not this big physical taxing thing that old people can't do. That's what you retire to do. When you have nothing to do, that's what you do. When you're old and retired, you go golf. It is not physically taxing. It is not, I'm not saying that it's a walk in the park, and then they do walk a lot, don't get me wrong. But Phil Mickelson, I am not taking away what he did yesterday. What he did yesterday was amazing. I was glued to the set. I got chills watching the big crowd of people that followed him as he was wrapping that up, and then he won. And of course, they would just reminded me of when Tiger won a few years ago. Age is just a number. I don't care, but this isn't 50-year-old Tom Brady winning a Super Bowl, having to play football. This isn't 50-year-old Michael Jordan or LeBron James, Michael Jordan coming out of retirement to play basketball. This isn't LeBron James playing until he's 55. We say it's soft, but it's still a physical sport. It's basketball. This is golf. This is what people retire to do. He won at 50. That's great. But I don't think that that's a significant thing at all. I don't think his age is significant at all. I've talked to multiple people today, former pro athletes. I said, I'm not trying to stir the pot with this. I am curious though. 3 individuals that all played in the NFL all told me today, no, that his age is not really that impressive. It's impressive because it's Phil Mickelson. It's impressive because it's hard to win majors and win championships. But it's just as hard for the 20-year-olds as it is 50-year-old Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson winning that yesterday, it just adds to what was already a historic career. I just don't I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, Kev. But like I said, I can't wait for when I'm old enough to retire so I can golf.
I'm not a golfer, so I don't really understand the game all like that. And I would be lying to you to say oh man, it's easy or it's hard because I don't follow the game. But what I do know is golf is a sport where you can play a very long time, and they have a senior tour. There's no senior NFL league. There's no senior
if you're
NBA.
Tim Tebow or Tom Brady, but
there's no senior NBA.
So the Jaguars. No, I know what you're saying.
So my first reaction to say is, yes, it's one heck of an accomplishment. But the thing about golf is, let's just say if I was a golfer, if you and I went to play, we're not playing against each other. We're playing the course. We're just out there at the same time.
I can't stop you.
Yeah.
I'm not getting down to defensive stance.
Yeah. You have no control over what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have control over what I do. So I think that's why people may look at it a little different because, he doesn't have a competition. He's not playing, Serena playing against Naomi Osaka. They have a direct competition. One is trying to stop the other. Nobody's out there waving in his face, trying to block his shot and everything like that. He's simply playing the course. And I say simply in quotation marks because I would only imagine a play as golf as good as you because that's how bad I am. So
wow,
I just
thank you.
So I think I just don't know. I don't know the game well enough to have a opinion about it, about his age being a factor. I do know this. I'm not Phil's age, but from my days of playing basketball and football, when I wake up in the morning, my left knee really hurts a lot. So from just that aspect of him walking 18 holes for 3-4 days, you got to be in some type of shape. You got to be out there grinding it out some type of way. And at 50 years old, I would imagine that's an accomplishment. some type of kudos that goes to being 50 years old to do that.
So, and like I said, when I brought that up, him winning a championship over the weekend, that is just as impressive. I mean, like, if a 20-year-old won that, we would be just as excited for that 20-year-old. Now, it just means more because of the name that is Phil Mickelson. That's big. By the way, if Tiger Woods doesn't have all the back injuries, okay, Tiger Woods is still golfing at such a high level. And I do believe that people say, well, it's not, he's the oldest ever to do it. Well, that's because you just don't see 50-year-olds play, at this level this long. But I don't think it's because it's physically taxing. I think if you are that good, I mean, you win a ton of money. I mean, you have to spend a lot of money to get this far too. Let's be clear. Yeah. The bottom line is I'm not saying, and see people all day, I was stirring the pot and I wasn't impressed with. I'm a huge Phil Mickelson fan. In fact, there's only two guys that get me to watch golf, and it's Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson. That's it. Those are the only two. When those two are in the tournament and they're on TV, I'm dropping what I'm doing to watch both of them. That's it. And so again, that was cool yesterday, but I was pumped. I was pulling for him. By the way, the payoff, if you bet on him to win, good for you, by the way, because you got paid. Okay. But the whole idea of all of this is when I look at it, I'm like, I was pumped yesterday whenever that was wrapping up. And I'm like, because it was Phil Mickelson, not because it was, oh my gosh, a 50-year-old just did this. Phil Mickelson is good. He's good no matter what age he is. Tiger Woods is good no matter what age he is. Tiger Woods is not bad right now because Kev hasn't been bad, or Tiger hasn't been bad over this last 5-10 years because of his age. He's been bad over the last 5-10 years because, for one, he's had all the injuries. And you could say, well, that's part of getting older. That's why you don't see old guys play to this far. Again, golf is just one of those sports that it's you, like you brought up, it's you against the course. It's you against, and I saw the one headline, the Phil Mickelson defeats Father Time. What are you talking about? He didn't defeat Father Time. He won a PGA Golf Championship. It was an amazing feat. I just think that it's an overrated headline. Oh, that at 50 years old, he did this. It was an accomplishment no matter what age you are. And he's one of the best golfers in the world, regardless of his age. So are we going to do this every time he does something moving forward? 50-year-old does it again. 50-year-old does it again. 50. If Tiger Woods doesn't get in that near fatal car crash, Tiger Woods is going to be sprinkling some championships in over the next couple of years too. And by the way, you can roll your eyes at that. Not one person expected him to win the Masters 2 years ago, and he did that. So it's not that crazy. And Tiger Woods, by the way, when he won that at 43, people kept talking about how significant that was. Tiger Woods isn't even one of the top 10 oldest guys to win a championship, but we made it sound like at his age it was just so rare to see him do that, right? It just, like I said, it was such a cool thing to watch. But can we stop with this? Oh man, at 50 years old he did this. Yes, technically he is the oldest player to win a PGA championship or whatever. That's super. That's awesome. But we need to stop doing this as if because I saw a graphic on ESPN today, Kev. It was him, it was Tom Brady, and it was LeBron James talking about the three best, aged veteran or the aged athletes in baseball. I'm like, are you kidding me? And by the way, LeBron's only considered aged based on how long he's been in the league, not really by his age. LeBron's not old. LeBron's just been in the league for almost more than half his life, right? For almost more than, or about half of his life, almost. Half of LeBron's life has been on an NBA floor, literally flopping. Whatever. But and every time he gets up, there's someone there to magically knock him back down again. But no, the whole Phil thing, it's a great storyline because he won, and that's great for golf when big names like that are making golf a talking point. But we got to stop with this whole headline of 50-year-old. Wow, 50 years old. I can't believe he did that. I'm not buying into that whole 50 years old thing. I'm just not.
7 years in between major championships. Now you will be able to tell me, is that do the greats really go that long in between winning majors?
That's the headline, the significance of ending that streak. I don't know. Maybe I am being a little too hard on the concept of, at 50 years old for him to end that streak. I guess I understand it. But that to me, like I said, if you're going to prioritize the list of reasons why that was significant over the weekend, his age is not on the priority list of things that he did. Him ending it was significant. And I loved Phil's interview afterwards when he talked about, he doesn't know, that could be his last. He even said, he goes, that might be the last championship I ever win. And he goes, he's thought about that. He goes, or it's the start of something new moving forward, because he said a lot of adjustments and changes to his game that he has made over the last year. He feels like it all clicked today or this weekend, and he feels like he could be onto something moving forward. So that I'm a big Phil Mickelson fan, and you're right. You talked about, how great he is to his fans. He's not always the most liked amongst individuals, but with his the fans love him.
Fans love him.
And that was very obvious yesterday when he had that wall of people following him from one hole to the next. That was really cool, especially as that started wrapping up. I was like, man, I haven't felt like this watching golf since Tiger won the Masters just a few years ago. I mean, those two are great for golf. There's great golfers today, but none of them carry the weight that have the name brand that Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods have. So that was a big day for him. It was a big day for golf. But like I said, you list the top 10 reasons why that was significant yesterday. If I'm making my own list, age isn't one of them. But I get it. I get why it's a talking point, but to me, it should not be 50-year-old wins PGA Championship. It's Phil. He's bigger than that storyline right there. That's all.
Yeah, fans love him because he tries shots that they would try.
Yep.
But he's good enough to make them. Yep. Like you try to bounce it off the tree and it just hits your back in the face. Phil bounces off the tree, it actually lands on the green. So those are the things that fans love him, and and those type of things. And looking at this, man, 7 years, almost 8 years in between, major championship victories. That's impressive, man, to have the ability to stick with it and stick around, because, in actual gladiator sport like football and everything like that, in between championships, that's what Aaron Rodgers is looking to do. He's looking to get another one, but an extended period of time in between winning your first and your second one, or in Phil's case, one to the next one. So that's an accomplishment all unto itself.
Yeah, and one more time, look, the senior or the senior whatever, the senior tour and all that stuff, that's super, that's great. But it's like, so these guys that, they get older and they join the senior tour and stuff, it's not as taxing, they don't golf as much. It's
right.
not, but that's not, by them joining the senior tour and them playing in those, like, that's proof I think they could still play. And by the way, those guys still play at a high level. It's not as if like the young pups are just significantly better than them, but they also don't have to play as much. They don't have to do as much. It's not that they can't. So that's all I'm saying is Phil Mickelson's success yesterday over the weekend, that was impressive and it was great and it was cool. But it wasn't the age thing that made it cool. It was because it's just like when LeBron or a superstar wins a title. When Tom Brady won it last year, I'm not even a Tom Brady fan, but I even have to acknowledge, man, we're witnessing history. When Tom Brady hoists up a trophy, we're witnessing history. Like we get to tell our kids and grandkids about what it was like growing up watching Tom Brady, the way people older than us got to grow up watching Elway in Montana and those guys. Like that's just how it is.
So Tom Brady's age, you don't view that as like one of those selling points that say that, wow.
No, that's a selling point because of the physicality of the sport.
Gotcha.
So when people say, man, Tom Brady, guys his age just don't have success in the league like that, that's significant because of how physical football. Now, if you have to hurry up and hit it off the tee before someone drills you in the back of the leg or something, then now we'll talk. Now, now we can have that conversation. All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers and Orion Sports Medicine. Am I off there? I'm curious people's thoughts. Like, is winning at 50 that significant? Winning is significant. All right. But if Phil Mickelson did this at 40 years old, I'm just as impressed of him doing it at 40 as I am at 50 because Phil's just that good. And that's what you expect. Am I off here? Is age actually a factor in this? Are you impressed because of how old he is when he did this? I'm not. Because Phil's that good. I don't care about his age. Now, to Kev's point, he just asked, do I view it like that with Tom Brady? No, because Tom Brady doing it as his age is to me, it's way more impressive. LeBron still dominating after near 20 years in the league is way more impressive than Phil Mickelson winning a major yesterday. Tom Brady winning a Super Bowl at 43 years old is way more impressive than Phil winning his first, winning that major at 50 years old, because those sports are physical. I mean, LeBron gets beat up. You saw how tough, you saw how hard he got hit yesterday. He's questionable for game 2 through 7. I hope that shoulder's okay. By the way, I don't know if this is true or not. Someone just said if you look, he's holding his left shoulder when he's on the ground, and when he's walking to the bench, he's holding his right. Before I can confirm that, I need to go watch the video. No. But I really hope that's the case because I need a good laugh.
I hope it's not true. I hope it's not true. Please don't let that be true. Goodness gracious.
Like I said, when LeBron hit the ground, it's very, You remember playing sports growing up? When your best player hit the ground, everyone's up. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Is he okay? Because everything rides on him. The fact that everyone went after protecting Alex Caruso before helping LeBron up, that's a team mindset of, oh, yeah, he's fine. He does that. Like, he'll be all right. He's all right. All right. David Shaw says, how many 50-year-olds before yesterday had won a major? That is the only thing I have to say about it. Well, I'm assuming, based on your typical tone, that you're doing your typical thing, Shaw. If you can hear and listen, I've said a million times he's the oldest player to ever do it. But is it because players at his age can't do it, or because they don't play that long into their career? I think they can do it. I think Phil can do it. I think Phil could do it again. I think Phil could win a couple more. And it's not that impressive to me because of these guys are good no matter what. Look, we're not talking about 80 years old. 80 years old is one thing. 80 years old, guys could barely get out of bed. But people retire.
He's the new 30, baby.
People retire, Shaw, to play golf. When you retire, you think you're too old to do anything, so you just go relax on the. No. You retire to play golf. And he goes, and by the way, he's psychoanalyzing the sports radio host. You are doing your typical misreading what I'm saying, trying to psychoanalyze. I'm fine. I'm not misreading anything. I know what you're doing too. How many 50-year-olds before yesterday had won a major? We've already established that we already know that answer. Nobody. But it's not a big deal to me because Phil Mickelson's good. So if he would have won this at 49, it's less impressive. Kev, if he wins this at 49 years old, a day before his 50th birthday, let's say, are we saying that this wouldn't be a headline because, he's not 50? No, it would have been a headline because it is him.
Yeah, it's a headline because it's him, but I think 50 does have a role to play in it. Just him. Or just take away that number 50 if it's just the oldest player to do something.
It's a talking point more than a headline. I'm not disagreeing with you.
And 50 is a nice round number.
Yeah.
49 doesn't sound as cool as 50. He's 50.
He said no.
49.
It's very impressive. Jack didn't do it. Arnold didn't do it. Come on, man. I'm not saying it's not. It's impressive that he won. It's not impressive that he's 50 because he is just as good at 49 as he is at 50. It's not like basketball or football where it's a physical taxing sport. Old guys are on the course right now not listening to our show because, well, apparently they're gimping up and down a golf course, barely making it in life. No, it's not stop. It was an accomplishment because he's great at golf, not because of his age. I don't care about how old he is. Now, if Phil Mickelson is known as the guy that could barely get out of his seat, that could barely walk on his own, that just went out and all of a sudden won a major, then you have me. Then you got my attention. But
can you look up his odds to win the tournament going into the weekend? Can we find that?
Sure, I could. I don't have it in front of me, but he sucked at 49. They aren't shooting 69 on that course. Blah 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 blah. Okay, whatever. So, anyways, like I said, it's impressive. I was pumped about it because Phil Mickelson did it, not because he's 50 years old and did it. And yeah, I'm just saying. I'll be back in a moment. Kev, what?
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy, a high near 88. Tonight's going to be partly cloudy, a low near 65. And tomorrow will be partly cloudy, a high near 90. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. Find out why 98% of their customers would recommend them to friends and family. Find out more at culletpropane.com.
Wendy's Frosty Chino is cold brew with frosty creamer. What does that mean? It means we took rich, smooth cold brew and then added your choice of vanilla or chocolate frosty creamer. Can you say good morning? Or better yet, Wendy's Frosty Chino? It's cold brew with frosty creamer. It's only at Wendy's and it's delicious. So ditch the stuffy coffee shop and say hasta la vista, barista. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's Frosty Chino and start your morning right.
At participating U.S. Wendy's.
Recently, Total Wireless helped Garrett Dvorak throw a virtual baby shower for his wife, Ellie.
Just to see everyone's expressions, I don't have words for it.
Because when you move to Total Wireless, you can get amazing devices on 5G. And with unlimited plans starting at $25 a month per line for 4 lines, you could save up to $80 per month.
Total Wireless, you guys pulled through.
Total Wireless, do amazing. 5G capable device and SIM required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. Savings claim made when compared to 4-line postpaid plans of the leading carrier for 2021. See terms and conditions at totalwireless.com.
All hits all the time.
Let's go commercial free.
even though saying we're going commercial free is technically a commercial for this station.
When I say commercial free, I mean no commercials from our sponsors.
But saying that is still a commercial of sorts, just to be clear.
Okay, now I'm confused. Let's go commercial free.
Except for this message about how we're going commercial free.
Maybe commercials about going commercial free just need a Snickers. Snickers satisfies.
Rural King's pet food prices has pet lovers going, wow. Rural King offers the lowest prices on pet foods every day, like Diamond Naturals dog food. Made with ingredients of exceptional quality, Diamond Naturals dog foods provide complete holistic nutrition for that four-legged family member. Get a 40-pound bag of Diamond Naturals lamb or chicken and rice for just $28.69. Nobody beats that price. This is available in stores only at your neighborhood Rural King, America's farm and home store.
Now at Menards, save big money on your next project with 11% off everything. Dirt, dust, and grime don't stand a chance against the Generac Speed Wash Pressure Washer. The 3100 PSI gas power washer saves you time and effort while delivering maximum cleaning performance. Bring back the splendor with Generac. All 11% off now at Menards. Good through May 31st. Savings are mail and rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider and are only available if the provider determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. You pay just $30 for a month's supply. And right now, get your first online doctor's visit totally free. 4hims.com/radio. That's right, free. Zero copay, no expensive appointments, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. Hims connects you to doctors online who can evaluate you and, if appropriate, prescribe your ED medication. And a pharmacy sends it right to your door. Hims makes it affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to. And that's really good news. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
I can't take this anymore. I have nowhere to go. I lost my job. I feel alone.
The crisis text line is here to help day or night. Text 4HOPE to 741-741 for free and confidential support. Text with a trained volunteer to move from that hot moment to a cool calm.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage and Rocket Companies. Last year, we saw historically low mortgage interest rates. What you may not know is that interest rates are already starting to increase, and it's likely that trend is only going to continue. Our team of experts is standing by to help you save before rates go up. Don't look back and wish that you had taken action. Call 833-8ROCKET or visit rocketmortgage.com.
Rocket. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Panera favorites are hot and ready to serve for dinner. Taste our creamy mac and cheese served in a crispy bread bowl. Or the classic bacon turkey Bravo featuring our signature sauce. How about our new mouth-watering Chipotle chicken and bacon flatbread pizza? These and other favorites are waiting for you. Order dinner tonight for delivery or pickup. Only at Panera. Availability and pricing may vary.
Staples is evolving to Staples Connect, a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore what's new at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
Look, in a sport that the average age is 54 years old, according to Golf Digest, I don't think it's that hot of a take for me to sit here and say that I don't think Phil Mickelson's age is that impressive for him winning. Like, Phil Mickelson is a great golfer, and I know that he has struggled over the years and all of that. But let me be clear here. So everyone keeps talking about, on YouTube, we're live on YouTube, ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. Matthew Hedrick on Facebook says, it is impressive that he won. And to reset here, Phil Mickelson at 50 years old becomes the oldest player to win a PGA championship in the history of golf. Like over 150 plus years, that he is the oldest player to ever win a championship. So I said, if he would have won this at 49 years old, would we be talking about the significance of his age? No. We would just be saying, oh, man, Phil Mickelson, man, what a great win. But because he's 1 year older, we're losing our 50 years old. I mean, my goodness, the average age of Golf Digest says the average age of a golfer is 54 years old. That's average age of a golfer for all of us common folk. Okay, we're talking about these professional guys. So he goes on to say that if you follow golf the last couple or a few years, his game has been in the decline, and many thought he was done since he had not played well. There's a lot of players in every sport that don't play well for a while and eventually fizzle out of the sport. But you know why they fizzle out of the sport is because either a team cuts them because they don't believe they're good enough, or a player just retires because at their age they feel like, I'm too old, I'm declining, I can't do it. Phil Mickelson comes back every single year because he believes he is good enough to still win. He believes he's good enough to win a championship. He believes that there's still something in there. So as long as he keeps coming back and he believes that he's there, who are we to say that he's not good enough to do it? Because that's why I'm not jumping on the age thing as that being that impressive. It is simply impressive that he put an end to his struggles and won. It is not impressive because he's 50 years old, especially in a sport where technology has allowed you to hit the ball farther. Okay. There's so many things. And he even said the biggest issue that he's had over the last 5-7 years has been the mechanics and his approach to the game, that he tries things that are different than most people. And he becomes obsessed with those. He becomes obsessed with wanting to win his way. So a lot of these things sound more self-inflicted than anything else. And I'm a big Phil Mickelson fan. Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods, and as I said earlier, no matter what's going on, they're up, they're on TV golf, and I'm stopping to watch. I am stopping to watch. I don't care if it's one of those little exhibition matches that we saw with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning a few years ago, or last year. Wow, that seemed like a few years ago. Last year, Kev, like that was during the last year, those, when those four up play. Trust me, folks, he's good. That was a huge accomplishment yesterday. I'm just not jumping on board with that. Like I said, when everyone retires, you're retiring in your 50s and 60s. And guess what? And people are like, God, I would love to retire in my 50s and 60s. I'm with you. But retiring in your 50s and 60s, they would love to retire. Everyone that I know that's retired, they're out on the golf course. That doesn't sound, it sounds like pretty relaxed. It sounds like something that old people can do. And by the way, I don't know how many of you are out there. There's always those old people on the golf course that like to show off. Us little young pups are on our golf cart. How many times for you listening at a golf cart, you're waiting on the 80-year-old in front of you who's walking 18? I'm like, are you kidding me? And I'm tired. And there's nothing that infuriates me more than a cart path only golf, by the way, because that means I still have to walk to find my ball somewhere. Anyways, 457-9464, Facebook, The Justin Kinner Show. You can jump on the conversation there. ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. Matthew also says his last tournament win was 2018 and his last major was 2013. So that's why this is impressive. I'm not saying his win wasn't impressive. I'm saying that his age is not that impressive. I don't care about his age because he has been able to sprinkle in those wins over the last 7 years. Yes. So he's clearly there's still something there. You could say that, many thought that he was declining. He's not playing well. Fine. I don't know if age has anything to do with that. This is a sport that you could play until you're old. And I know that the common sense, the simplistic response is, well, no one's ever done it before. So clearly no one's ever done it before. Because for one, some guys just fizzle out and don't have the passion to keep playing at this level. He could easily just have said, you know what, I'm just going to stay on the senior tour and just take it easy and call. No, he's an uber competitive person. That's why he's one of the best of all time, because he will not strive for, I'm just old and I'm done. If you are still playing at this level, even if you're not playing well, that's because in your head, you still think that despite your age, you are still good enough to compete at this level. So therefore, I'm not going to allow age to be a factor here. It's cool. It's impressive, but this isn't Tom Brady winning a Super Bowl at 43. All right. This isn't, LeBron going to be playing into his 40s, still competing for NBA championships and still averaging 25 plus a game. That's impressive to me. 50-year-olds winning golf. That's what you do when you're 50. I'm sorry. It's cool because it's Phil Mickelson. It's not cool because he's 50. Anyways, whatever.
What about this? So I did a little research on this.
How dare you? We don't do research on this show.
I'm definitely going to butcher this man's name. Julius Barrows, maybe. At the time in 1968, he was 48 years old. And until yesterday, he was the oldest person to win a major. So that mark stood for 53 years.
But back then, like, this goes back to, one reason that Tom Brady is praised for how long he's been able to play deep into his career is because of, how much more serious people take their bodies. There's so much, the technology that's out there, the information that's out there. There it goes. Notepad fumble. Exactly. Man, if only I was in my 20s, I would have been able to prevent that. But, I'm old and 30. So anyways, but the bottom line is, like, back then, like, people didn't take care of their bodies the way that they do now. That's one thing I talked about with Keith Byers earlier today. And he goes, look, it's impressive that he won yesterday, but him being 50, he understands why people are going to take that headline and run with it, but it's not that significant because Phil is Phil. Phil takes care of his body. He takes care of himself. That's why it's just not that significant. But back then, that was old. I don't think 50 is old today. That's why I guess I'm just not buying into all the hype around that. That's all. So let's go to the phones. 457-9464. Who's on deck?
We got Shaw.
Shaw, what's up?
Not much, homie. What's going on?
Just another day in paradise, my friend. What you got for us?
You're comparing it. I know what you're saying in some aspect, but all I'm saying is you're comparing this to a normal 55-year-old male walking around a golf course around here in Dayton, Ohio, playing at Yankee Trace or whatever, comparing it to what Phil did yesterday, walking around a major golf course in the PGA Tour. It's not even comparable. I mean, yeah.
Do pro golfers walk different than regular people?
You know this as a golfer. Not every 50-year-old is out there walking. Majority of them are in a golf cart. He's not.
Okay. Then if he can't handle it, then he should retire. But he's fine. He's playing fine. He was just. I mean, he's been doing this his whole life. This is second nature to him. It's not anything that's debilitating.
But if it's second nature, then why is he the only 50-year-old to ever do it?
Well, if it's second nature, then how come the 20 and 30-year-olds aren't winning majors this often? So I'm just saying, like, this is significant because he won, not because of his age. No, they're not. They haven't done as much as him.
He had 6 majors his entire career.
Okay. And he just won another one yesterday over the weekend because he's in his 50s. I don't care about him being in his 50s. It was just impressive. Age has nothing to do with it.
Kepka has 4 already. Justin Thomas has 3.
Mm-hmm. Will he even play into his 50s? They're going to play to their 50s. They'll play to their 60s because they take care of their bodies better. If you look at all the technology that's been put into the golf clubs and everything else, and the courses have been redesigned to fit their nature and everything. So no, I'm not that impressed.
Couples and all the other ones have been playing here recently. They didn't take care of their bodies.
I'm not saying that. I'm just all I'm saying is that it's easier to play deeper into your career.
Have it both ways.
No, I'm not. I'm really
you
not.
Are, because
Shaw, why do I even talk or think for myself? Should I just call you and say, "Hey, Shaw, what's up, man? Hope you're having a good day." Hey, what should I think today?
I'm trying to have an adult conversation, and you're turning it into, "Well, should I just talk to you?"
Because I'm just curious,
dude.
Like you're trying to grow up. Relax. You're the one that lives every day of your life jumping on the Facebook page telling me why I'm a dumb radio host. So why do I need to grow up?
I don't live every day. You don't hear from me.
You don't live every day. Do you take some days off? What does that mean?
You're a child.
I'm 31. I'm very young. I'm not old, like 50 years old. And I can't wait for when I'm 50. I might go win a golf.
You could go out there and compete like he could compete at 50 years old. You wish you could.
That's a weird thing to say. Of course, you wish.
Actually, I can compete. So
wow! Holy smokes! How good a golfer are you?
I can shoot in the low 80s. How about we go play sometime?
Oh yeah, let's arm wrestle too. Yeah.
Kidder,
I'm not hanging out with Shaw. I can barely stand these 3 minutes every 2 weeks that he calls in.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Who said put money where? I work in radio. I don't have any money.
Well, you do a lot of talking, so why?
That's what I'm paid to do. That's the stupidest comment. You say a lot of stupid stuff. That might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say. You do a lot of talking. I have a 3-hour daily radio show. I get paid to talk for 3 hours.
No crap, Sherlock.
Uh-huh.
You've got to be kidding me.
It's not no, I'm serious. I get paid to talk daily for 3 hours, and you just said you do a lot of talking.
All know that.
That's like me if I went to McDonald's and say, you flip a lot of burgers over there. That's what they get paid to do.
What? Your radio show, genius. I know you talk on the radio. What I'm
so why are you pointing out obvious stuff?
Smack.
Duh!
You talk a lot of smack when it doesn't do anything.
Huh?
You talk a lot of smack for someone that's never done anything.
Well, that's very mean. You don't know anything about me. I don't pretend to be good at golf. I acknowledge that I'm bad at golf.
I don't need to.
Okay, and I'm pretty sure. Listen, so I'm not allowed to talk golf because I'm not good at golf. Well, then maybe you shouldn't tell me how to do a radio show because I think you'd be garbage at that. So
basketball, I will destroy you whenever you want to play.
You know how weird you say? Oh yeah, let's settle this on the basketball court. 2 o'clock, playground, be there. Put your money where your mouth is.
Talk me down like I don't know what I'm talking about every single day on this radio show. Yet you don't want to actually have an adult conversation. You turn it into
an adult conversation. Let's go. We play 1-on-1 on the basketball court. Let's settle this like men.
Well, you say I don't know how to play golf. I tried to play you at golf.
I actually asked. First of all, listen. First of all, I asked if you were good at golf. I didn't know if you were good at golf. It was a simple question.
And because you haven't, you can remember everything else under the sun. But I've told you I've played my entire life. But you can't remember that.
I played basketball my entire life. I still suck at basketball, so that doesn't mean anything.
I got a question.
I got to interrupt this. Make sure you say something he likes, so he's going to challenge you to 1-on-1.
I got.
I don't have a problem with Kev. I have a problem with you.
Then why call?
Kenner, are you going to accept this challenge?
No, he's not.
I want to see it. I think it'd be great for the website.
I think it would too.
I'm a little too old to play golf.
Will you challenge him in hoops?
No, that's weird. First of all,
challenge me in anything. I guarantee you will lose.
Were you a bully in high school?
I'm talking. Everybody that wants to see Kenner take on Shaw in any sport, chime in on the Facebook page right now. If you want to see a basketball game, chime in with the basketball emoji. If you want to see a golf game, chime in with the golf emoji. We'll let the people decide. Man.
Ron Howard said it best. He said boxing.
No, we're not doing that. I don't think we can get a waiver for that. We can get a waiver for basketball and golf. We can definitely get that. I can holler at the corporate office. Trust me. I got them on the line, man.
So if you're so good, how come you're not out there with Phil?
I'm not that good.
But you've been golfing your whole life.
I'm not good enough to be playing on the PGA Tour. There's a whole difference.
Why not? You're in your 30s. I mean, you're not old like 50.
No, I'm 39.
Oh, that's pretty old.
Yeah, I know it is.
Holy moly! When do you get your ARP card?
Every day.
When do you get your ARP card? We got another vote for boxing. There's a lot of boxing coming in.
There's going to be a lot of votes for boxing, but it's never going to happen. So
I'll knock you out. That's why. That's exactly why.
Shaw. So if y'all hooped, what would the score be?
Oh, first of all, golf's one thing. Basketball, I'm winning in basketball, but I'm not going to do this childish thing of meet me on the basketball court.
What are we playing to?
12.
That's the 2 to 12.
We're playing till I can stop laughing.
One game to 12.
One game to 12. I'll give him 4. 12-4.
Okay. Now, Shaw, I gotta admit, I've hooped with Kenner before. Kenner got a nice little pull-up jumper, so I've never seen you play before, but I can commend my partner here. He does have a nice pull-up jumper, so I would say you probably.
That's why I gave him 4.
Oh. You don't need to give me anything. No. You give me 4. I give you 4.
Okay.
I'll be the camera guy.
I will take you to the hole.
Holy moly, this is totally out of hand. I mean, seriously, we just had someone call in today. Shaw, have a great week. We'll talk later. Adios.
Shaw, I'm setting it up. Don't worry, I'm setting it up.
This is set up.
I'm setting it up. It's happening.
That's the dumbest.
It's happening.
He actually called in and actually pulled this stunt of, oh yeah, let's settle this like men on the basketball. I mean, are you what?
I'm setting it up. Y'all playing, man. Y'all hooping, man.
Meet me on the playground.
Y'all hooping,
3
man.
o'clock right after school.
You've been losing a lot of weight.
I'm surprised he didn't do the whole be there, be square thing. I mean, my goodness, Shaw, you sound like a loser. That was the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Meet me on the basketball court, man. Let's settle this like men. Let's settle this like men. Let's meet on the basketball floor. What?
You don't want to play?
I'm 5'5". I'm not good at anything.
So what?
But then he was dumb enough to sit there and say, all you do is talk. That's what I do.
He said he beat you 12-4.
And he's going to give me 4 points. No, I'll give him 4. I'll give him 6 points. I'll just bury it from 3 the whole time. Steph Curry, baby.
12-6.
Whole time.
Okay.
All right. I mean, wrestling. We're getting a lot of boxing. See, this stuff is nuts. Okay. David Shaw says, no, you won't. Okay. Shut up, Kev. We got another vote we have like a bunch of boxing coming in. Ray said, I'll pay to see it. You know,
I'm trying to tell you, dog.
Are they doing Dayton Fight Night this year?
They probably will.
When they bring that back, I'm telling you right now, Shaw, do whatever you got to do. Boxing it is.
Oh, skipping on
Dayton Fight Night, set it up. I don't even care. You know, if there's a lot of listeners that radio hosts around the country would say, you know what, give me 3. There's 3 listeners that every radio host has in mind. If someone said you get to box 3 of your listeners that irritate the hell out of you, Shaw, and Shaw. It'll be, yeah. Pick the stipulation, whatever it is. Cage match. Jason Campbell says Iron Man. I mean, this is insane. Guy Schroeder says, I will say, when you hit 50, your body changes quite a bit. Well, there's a pill for that. Chad Kinser says Sean Kinner one-on-one volleyball. Well, Shaw's probably good at that too. He's probably mastered the set. He probably mastered the kill.
That's what we could do.
We'll do a set off. Yeah.
Y'all could play basketball.
It'll be like a fat guy triathlon.
Yeah,
baby.
we get a third one. See who can run a mile the fastest, something like that. Yeah.
Laser Maxwell says wrestling match.
I'll sell the tickets to this, man. Eventbrite.com.
No.
Make my money.
Wrestling.
We could put a sponsor on it. You know what I'm saying? The bosses love sponsors.
Yeah, the bosses will do anything. I mean, it is what Bob McKinney says mini golf. I'm 5'5". Every time I pick up a club, it's mini golf. Calls in and says, let's settle this like men on the basketball floor. And you're instigating this. You're fanning the fire.
I want to see it.
He tells me I get fired. He calls it all fired up.
I want to see it. I'm not going to lie.
He says that I poo-poo on his stuff. I react. I don't just start screaming for no reason. You got to give me a reason to start yelling at you. Kev.
I want to see it. I want to see this. I definitely want to see the basketball.
I'm good at basketball. I played for the Harlem Globetrotters. I have the video to prove it. You talking about that? You want to see that step up? Look, Ray says he'll help me. He'll train me for boxing. This boxing thing is taking off. I'm telling you. Chad says 1029 should sponsor anything that is done. I want tickets now. Why Hot 1029? Which Hot 1029 is a great station. Kev Nash, you sound a lot like the guy that does some work on Hot 102.
Yeah, I mean, we can do a cross promotion, man. I can be the hype man. You know what I'm saying? I'll host the whole thing, man. It'll be awesome. I'm telling you. This would be great. Get a little video feature. You can do your 30 for 30 if it goes one way.
See, Shaw's afraid of me because he keeps putting basketball emojis. Everyone's saying boxing. I want boxing. Everyone wants boxing, and Shaw keeps putting basketball emojis.
I don't know if I can get the corporate office to sign off on boxing, but I know I can get them to sign off on
a loser leaves town match.
There you go.
Shaw, if you beat me in a boxing match, I quit. Brother. Yeah. You don't. This is so stupid. Oh, this is dumb. Oh, yeah. Ray says we need a 30 for 30. Oh, I can make a 30 for 30 on Shaw. That would be great. That'd be fine. By the way, it's Bob McKinney says charity boxing.
See?
I'd love to kick Shaw's ass from charity.
We can do charity boxing, charity golf, charity basketball,
Yeah, you do boxing first. He won't be able to play basketball or anything.
Oh, Shaw, what's your charity? What's the charity you want to donate to?
Well, probably the senior tour for golf.
What charity would you donate to?
I got to be careful. I can't make jokes. I'm going to get in trouble for it. So step away for a few moments. We'll regather ourselves. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Presented by Kirkland and Sommers and Orion Sports Medicine. That's if the sponsors say we don't want to be a part of this joke anymore. Lamar Shelley says this would be perfect for the undercard for Mayweather and Paul. All right, we out. Are we out or are we coming back? What are we doing?
We're out.
Oh, we're out.
We're out.
Yeah, better run, Shaw. Maybe at the playground. Settle this like that. What a dumb thing to say. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.